The whole... How old are you, mate?
Can I just say one?
What the f*** are we...
From his side.
I mean,
Just so now, let's say some lady's walking across the street with a stroller and he kills her and her baby. For the foreseeable future, he's fucking gone. How fucking stupid is that? To taunt a cop like that.
Filming with one hand, driving with the other, 210 miles an hour.
Ridiculous.
What are the different penalties for if you got caught doing what we were doing?
Jail time. I'm running red lights. I'm doing more than triple the speed limit, double the speed limit. This is a lot.
Analyzing the penalties and not giving it. That's called a deliberate indifference. That is the thing that judges fucking hate the most.
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Who is he? Bruce Rivers.
The plan behind the laptop, everything I do to that. Guess who this is brought to? You do that, you know, or you have and tears around the city and tries to evade the police. They rent cars, really fast cars. So, you know, it's all well and good to have a creative idea and to make money off the internet. What do you think we're doing, you know? But it's another to really put yourself and others at risk.
Yeah, we actually managed to ban Christy last night. We reached the goal. So, I already manually banned her by going to her channel. If she shows up in chat, I'm just gonna ban her.
Real risk.
Destiny with the HodgeTwins is hilarious. Yeah, I'd imagine.
So now, let's say some lady's walking across the street with a stroller and he kills her and her baby. For the foreseeable future, he's fucking gone. So there's one of two reasons to do this. Just to fuck with the card because it's kind of fun to do, or to draw attention. And I think it's more to draw attention so he can try to outrun the cops.
This guy is a complete fucking asshole. Holy shit.
When I see
it's
this,
great how they finally caught this retard.
This kind of shit, all I see is somebody just jutting out in front of him, and all of a sudden creating a huge wreck. What kind of crime can you be charged with?
Debate Need God Net. I'm assuming on religion or some shit. You want me to debate him on? I don't know who that is. Have you ever seen The Deuce? Bleak but brilliant show. It's definitely better writing than Breaking Bad. Never heard of The Deuce.
If that happens, you kill somebody, you know, it's one thing to be a little reckless, but it's another thing to taunt people, because that's one of the things he's been doing. He's been taunting the police. He's been, you know, he's got this channel, so I'm going to just be a fucking fun guy, you know. But if you kill somebody like this, it's aggravated. It's aggravated by the brazen nature of what we're talking about here. By aggravated, what I'm saying is he has an indifference here to human life. And when you have a prolific action, in other words, he's all over the place, and he has this indifference, this kind of joyride. Who the fuck cares? I'm going to just go off and do what I'm going to do, and I don't care who I hurt or how I hurt them. That is an aggravating factor. When you have an aggravating factor that's this bad, because you'll see how we get into this in a little bit, judges really don't like the brazen nature of some folks when they're just, and this is all on video. So all they have to do is link it back to him and
watch Barry. It's an amazing show. The fuck is Barry? Barry. I don't know if I'm gonna watch that.
See you later.
Let's see. Oh, I forgot to put the Streamlabs link.
Like not relative and stuff, and he was saying it was subjective, but I thought that like wouldn't that be a contradiction to his worldview though, if he's an atheist?
So he's saying truth is not relative. Truth is he said it's subjective, but isn't that the same?
That's what I tried to tell him, and I was like, wait a minute. I even looked it up, and then there was like some stuff saying that it wasn't, and then there was some stuff saying that it was the same. So
Because
I
generally,
don't
how I
know.
understand it, so objective meaning it's true, independent of like
Mhm.
people's belief about it. When subjective is it's like just for what the person's opinion is, and it doesn't relate to anyone else. And so, morality and truth are not subjective. They're not relative. They are objective. And I think atheists know that. Atheists know that truth is not just whatever I think is true. They actually know, like, there are things that are actually right and wrong, things that are true or false. It's just that when they come to God, they don't want to admit that, because if they affirm that there is something as truth and there is something as morality, both those things
Okay.
prove one, an objective moral law.
Okay. This guy is gonna get taken down. He's a fucking moral realist. Let's see. Allow. Camera. I don't know why it always defaults to that thing. Headphones, microphone. There we go. That should be good.
Because that's unlivable if you get rid of logic.
Yeah.
And yet they don't want to realize what logic proves. Logic proves a logic lawgiver.
Yeah. Yeah, he was like one of my good friends from high school, and I went to a Christian school, but I didn't really like get challenged a lot, obviously, at a Christian school until I got to college this year.
Right.
And so I think that's kind of like what got to him. And he told me he's being like open-minded, but then like I was like I took his worldview from that like for as far as mo morals go, and I was like, so if anything's just like relative and subjective, I can just say like, oh, like the Holocaust didn't happen or something like that. And he just like instantly like denied me on that. And but yet he's saying he's open-minded, and it's just like hurting my heart to like watch
You should
that.
ask him the question, hey, if Christianity was true, would you become a Christian?
I did actually ask him that, and he told me that he would. But you know, and he's like, yeah, he's like, if I found out like Christianity was true, I would follow Jesus. And
And then you could ask
it,
him, so how would you find out if it's true? Because sometimes they can say
Mhm.
yes, oh yeah, I would, but then they create an unreasonable standard to say, well,
Yeah.
but it's never going to meet this standard, so therefore I never have to even become a Christian. And yet they don't have that same sort of standard with everything else they believe in. But with God and Jesus,
Mhm.
unreasonable standard. So in essence, they're really saying, I just don't want to be a Christian. I don't want to believe it.
Yeah.
So you
And
could
it's
try and
only
point
God
out
who
the
can change the heart.
inconsistencies. Yes, and that's the thing. It's a spiritual battle. When people bring up their objections to God, it's oftentimes
Lol.
not because they're
This is
really
probably where Flav
genuinely
City or
wanting to
Paul
know. A lot of the
Saladino
time
get
it's,
their idea to your manga
I
about
just want to be
food
God myself, and
additives.
I know God's going to get in the way of that. I want to live life my own way. And so we just
I'll
got to
check out
keep
that
them in
link
prayer
after I get on the
and
Yeah.
debate
lovingly
thing.
try
Thanks for
guiding
the
them to the
donation,
truth.
Brandon.
And then using apologetics,
Hmm.
but not forgetting the gospel. Letting our apologetics be pointing to the gospel. I had a chat last night with someone, and I could see that they didn't really want to agree with a lot of the points I was making. But this is what I did. I was thinking to myself, I want to get the gospel of this person, but he's not agreeing with a lot of what I'm saying. So rather than just keep trying to knock heads here on these points we don't agree with, I just asked him, hey, what do you think the message of Christianity is about how to go to heaven?
Mm-hmm.
And now the topic's turned away from what we disagree on to now, okay, what do you think? Yeah, Christianity teaches about the way to heaven. And then he didn't know. And so I was like, okay, well, let me explain it to you. And I went through the logic of the gospel as I usually do. And it actually, I could see a softening. Once he understood the gospel, those objections that he had before just started to disappear. Because it always reminds me the gospel is the power of God for salvation. So that's my aim, is to at least attempt to always get there if the person's willing to get there.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
So that could be a
That
strategy.
helps me. Yeah, that helps me a lot. Unfortunately, I gotta cut it short, and I gotta get home. But
No worries. God
thanks for
bless you,
talking
Grant.
to me, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
See you, man. All right, let's bring up Hayden, who's next. G'day, Hayden.
Damn it.
Hello, how are you?
Good, man. Great to see you.
Nice to see you. So I'm just curious. I think I'm a deist myself, but I'm curious to see some of the talks you have. I'm not sure on your denomination before I start. Like, what denomination are you? You sound Baptist to me.
I don't actually label myself by any denomination, actually. I just call myself a Bible-believing Christian.
Okay. Okay. So I just want to clarify a few things you've said so far. So you said, what do all those people deserve to pay the fine for their crime? I was just curious what you meant by that, because it seems a little misleading when you make it sound like we've committed an inherent crime as just human beings.
Yeah, I would say, are you referring to original sin? Is that what you're talking about?
That would be, I mean, yeah, basically.
Okay, sure. How God made humans is that he made it that Adam would represent all humans in the Garden of Eden. And so then when he sinned, acting on our behalf, we therefore bear the consequences and even the guilt for that action. So that's why the Bible speaks about how we're all conceived in iniquity. We already have sin on it against our name. But in our own personal lives, we don't do any better than Adam. We sin every day. And so not just for Adam's sin are we condemned, but also for our own personal sins we're condemned. Hence why we need the Savior, Jesus.
Weren't we kind of forced into this nature of sinning, though, as like being born is something we weren't able to choose? So that's where we immediately lost free will. And as humans, we have free will. But as soon as we're born, I guess conceived even, we don't have that free will.
We still have a choice every day. Do I sin or do I not sin? So we've got free will in that sense. But if you're meaning we didn't have an opportunity to be born without sin, you could say, sure, I agree. But we don't deserve an opportunity to be born without sin.
Why don't we? Because, like, let's say, for example, I force somebody into my house, right? And you may have heard this example before, and I torture them. I throw money at them as compensation for the torturing. They were never there to choose, hey, I'd rather not be tortured in the first place.
Yeah, it's those sort of analogies. I have heard them before. I'm just not sure if it's really equivalent. Because one thing, first of all, it's a blessing to be able to exist in God's universe. It's a beautiful thing, not a negative thing. God isn't putting us here to torture us. He's putting us here to enjoy his amazing creation, which we get to do. We get to eat lovely food and see beautiful sunsets and all the different things, have friends and family, things we don't deserve.
Mm-hmm.
And yet we choose personally in our own life to make the choice every day to sin in different ways. And so even just for those sins would be enough for us to deserve God's punishment for breaking his law, because we know we shouldn't do those things, and yet we actively go ahead and do it anyway. So it's a willful defiance against the Creator.
Okay. And then another thing you hit on earlier, you hit on Romans 9:13, I think it was.
Yes.
And you said that it's actually, I would say it's relatively controversial from what I've heard from Christians and Catholics. You said something along the lines of God can pick and choose favorites, or, show that he likes one more than another.
Yeah, God can choose to love one person more than another. Same with you can, I can. In fact, if I didn't love my wife more than other women, there's probably something wrong.
But Okay, so in the Romans chapter, I don't know if you want to pull it up on your little Bible.
Sure, let me do it. Yeah, I'll do that.
Because I noticed you use ESV, which is actually, I'm glad you use ESV, but there's also, compared to like King James, but there's also some historical accuracies. In 2:11, could you go to 2:11?
Sure. Romans 2:11.
Yes.
Romans chapter 2, verse 11. For God shows no partiality. Yes. So what this is referring to here is that God doesn't choose to treat someone differently based on an irrelevant factor. So say a judge is like, hey, look, I'm going to let this criminal go, but this other criminal not go because I like the look of that person. They look beautiful. They don't look as good. I'm going to pick you. I'll let you go free, but I'll punish you. That would be showing partiality, and that's not right. God doesn't do that. God doesn't look at something in us and say, yeah, because of that, I'm going to now pick you and do something more special for you. His own choosing of who he wants to love and show mercy is just based on his sovereign will, not based on something in us. But he's also not doing something unjust. Like in that example, the judge is doing something unjust, but God doesn't, because the fine is paid for. Every sin is going to be paid for somehow. It's either by the person themselves in hell, or it's by Jesus taking it on the cross for them.
Okay.
What about yourself,
okay.
though? Like for yourself, because do you think that you've sinned against God?
The word sin is, you were even saying it earlier, it's really relative, so I'm not sure. If you define sin, maybe.
Well, I guess sin is defining as like the breaking of God's law, doing things that God doesn't want you to do.
I mean, that's so vague, especially with, like, as you were talking about high standards. I think that's kind of unfair because there's so high standards for sin. So if we're bound to go to hell for sinning and the standards are so high for sinning, then it's unreasonable to think that we ever actually had a chance to go to heaven in the first place.
But we don't deserve a chance to go to heaven. Heaven's a gift, not something that we deserve. So if God doesn't want to give that gift to anyone, that's up to him. He doesn't have to. It's his gift. He can give to those who wants to. But what I'm trying to say is that you're in his universe, I'm in God's universe, then God can set rules for his universe. If you break those rules, it's reasonable you get punished for breaking them, right?
With the presupposition that the Christian God is real. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so then, like, do you think you're a good person?
I would say, yeah, I'm pretty moral compared to other humans. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because I think often when we think of ourselves as good, we do compare ourselves. Look at the criminal over there. I'm not as bad as him. But what if you compared yourself to a perfect, holy, righteous God? Are you good?
I don't think there is a perfect, holy, righteous God. But if there were, then no, because that's an unreasonable standard again.
I don't think it's an unreasonable standard. Similar in society.
What?
How many laws do you have to break in society for the government to be able to punish you?
One.
So then
Yeah.
we would only have to break one of the Creator's laws for him to be able to punish us. That's not an unreasonable standard then.
The difference is I choose to live in America and I have the free will to leave America, right? And the only thing that would be equivalent to that in God's universe would be, I don't want to say it on here, but you know.
Yeah. But at the same time, you didn't really have a choice to whether you're going to live in America or not. You were born in that place, and when you were young, you had absolutely no chance of leaving America. You had no means. If you didn't have enough money, you wouldn't even have the ability to leave America. So that's why if someone is poor or doesn't have the money to leave America, they still are obligated to obey the American laws. And so we are obligated to obey the Creator's laws, even if we don't have an option of not living in his universe. You see?
I see what you're getting at. I don't think it's so comparable because I don't have a choice to just move to heaven, but yes.
Right, but these people who have no money have no choice to leave America either, but they still have to keep the laws. Now, I think though, let me ask you, how many lies do you think you've told in your life?
Innumerable lies. I don't know why it's relevant, but many, yes.
No, the reason why is because we're talking about we're talking about, are we good people? I would say I'm not. I actually think I'm a bad person because I've told many lies as well. How many times do you think you've swore in your life?
Couldn't tell you.
Yeah, too
Mm.
many. Same. Even anger, being rude, disrespecting somebody. Have you ever done that before?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
We haven't just done these things once.
But these
Once
are
would be enough.
human nature. Like, this is human nature you're describing. This shouldn't be a sin because this is human nature. And since we weren't given the option of human nature, I don't think it's fair to classify it as sin and, condemn us to hell, right? We never really had a chance for heaven.
Do you have the choice of being rude to someone or not being rude to someone?
It is human nature. So I would say over the course of your lifetime, no. On a base-to-base decision, yes.
And every day we make decisions, and those decisions are just, if you're talking about the whole lifetime, well, every day you made the decision: do I be rude to someone or do I not be? So
Yeah,
then we
swearing is a
absolutely had
sin.
the choice of whether I did these wrong actions or not.
Yeah, and for everybody donating
So it
in
makes sense we'll be
Streamlabs,
held accountable.
I am going to get to
And
the
I think we've
donos
done
just
The logic
after
is
I do
flawed
this
with
debate
original
with this
sin.
guy. We
Sorry,
just
but the
have to
logic,
wait a
it
bit.
just doesn't work with original sin because I was always going to have this sin.
Well, no, you didn't have. With original sin, it's that you are guilty for what Adam did. But Adam's not guilty for what you do every single day. Those are things you've personally chosen to do. Adam had no influence on that. You just personally were put in circumstances, and then you had the choice of saying no to that sin or saying yes, and we chose to say yes. Therefore, we're accountable for that. Right? So then, and I think we've done things worse than even the things I just described. Right? We probably know about the thoughts we've had that are evil and other things like that. So if God, the creator, was to judge you based on all those things, would you be innocent or guilty?
If he's an all-loving God and I didn't get to choose, I should be innocent, right? Because
You got
with the
to
human
choose.
justice system you gave example earlier, right? If we don't have control over the action, we can't be responsible for the action, and that's just a philosophical standpoint. If we don't have control over the decision we're making, then we can't be responsible for the decision we're making.
You do have absolute control. Do I be rude? Do I not? Do I lie? Do I not lie? You absolutely have the choice. Just like, if you want to bring an example, if a criminal had a pretty rough upbringing, pretty hard upbringing, that's not an excuse for when they're at the age of 30, they decide, do I speed on the road here? Do I not speed on the road? Do I steal or do I not steal? They still make the choice at that very moment. Even if their upbringing was hard, they still make the choice at that moment to do the crime. They should get the punishment. You see? And so we make the choice daily to do sin, so we are fully responsible for our sins. Now, just checking, can you still hear me? Yeah, looks like your camera's frozen. Hopefully, he maybe got a phone call because I heard his phone buzz or something like that. It would be good to hopefully we can continue the conversation because, man, I definitely want you to know the way to heaven. Hopefully he can. Oh, there we go. Hayden, you back?
Hello. Yes. Sorry about that. I was on my phone because of the
Cool.
camera requested. So.
Okay. All right. Cool. So, yeah. So I guess my point is that, so just like with that example, was that in society, because of someone's hard upbringing, when they make choices to do crimes, they're still fully responsible despite whatever happened in the past. And so whenever we choose to sin, doesn't matter what our background is, at that moment we chose to sin, we're fully accountable.
The difference is they're not bound to make these crimes. We're bound to sin according to Christian theory.
No, I think you're misunderstanding original sin. Original sin is that we have one sin against our name. It's not that every second you must be sinning. And every day, I personally, I have a choice. Do I tell a lie? Do I not lie? Do I be rude? Do I not? I have that choice. You have that choice. We know we have that choice. We're not forced to make the choice. I think that's a misunderstanding of original sin. It's not a forcing that every second you've got to choose the sin.
I still don't think it's comparable, but I see what you're saying. I see what your standpoint is. Yes.
And so then, because of your sin, God would have to punish you for the wrong you've done. How do you think you could avoid that punishment?
How could I avoid the punishment of God?
Yeah.
Okay, so the thing is, I'm not going to sin every second, but I think you're being unfair. I'm not saying you're being malicious, but I don't think it's fair with the words you're using, because every second you're sinning seems like a contradiction of what I said. But I'm just saying, if I
But
have to
even
sin as a human being,
anytime, like I don't think original sin means you have to sin ever. It's just that you already have a sin. That's original sin. It's never saying you're forced to sin at a time. It's just that you already have a sin against your name. That's the difference.
there's no way I could live a perfect life according to Christian theory, correct?
The reason is because you have already a sin against your name. It's already on your record, you might say.
Because of
But that
actions I did
doesn't
not make.
mean that in your daily choices, that original sin is now making you sin or forcing you to sin. You make that choice every day. And so for those sins that you chose to do, which we both know as many sins that we've done in our life, we can be rightfully held accountable and be punished by God for that. So how do you think you could be avoiding that punishment that you deserve, just even for the sins you chose to do?
If I've already sinned, is that what you mean?
Yeah. Well, we already have. So yeah, what do you think is the solution?
There's a million presuppositions here, but I suppose according to your theory, the only solution would be to believe in Jesus, right?
Yeah. And why would that solve it, do you think?
Because of Christian ideology.
Well, but what specifically? Like, why does that mean you don't have to get punished for all the wrong you've done?
I'm not sure I'm following.
Okay. Well, it's like this. So we deserve God's punishment for our sin, but if Jesus takes it on our behalf, we don't have any more punishment coming our way. We're free of it, so we get to go to heaven. You see that? So it's not that God ignored our sin. He actually dealt with it by having Jesus take it on our behalf. And he's offering to do that for you. It's just that you have to come to that point where you realize you're guilty for your sin. I've come to that point. I realize I'm definitely guilty for my sin, but I accept that Christ took it for me on the cross. And you can have that too if you trust that he died for your sin, or you can say, I don't want it. And then you will be held accountable. And your objections before God, they'll fall on deaf ears, because God is the one who you'll stand before, and he's the final standard. There's no one you can appeal to say, look, I think your standards are too strict. It doesn't matter what our opinion is of God's standards. If he's the judge, his opinion matters most.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from.
So yeah, Hayden, hopefully this is some food for thought. And I think understanding the right view of original sin does disarm your objection. But remember, I don't see this as a debate. I see this as, I want you to go to heaven. I really do. So just spend a bit of time reflecting on how many bad things you've done in life, and then reflect on how you don't want God's punishment. But then I hope you will trust that Jesus took that punishment for you.
Sure.
It's been a pleasure chatting to you, Hayden. Thanks for coming and asking a question, man.
You too. Have a good one.
God bless you. Cool. Hey, it was a good chat with Hayden. He's got some things to think about. Really, really good conversation. All right, I'm going to bring up, I'm not sure his name, Vegan?
Yeah, Vegan
hey,
Gains.
Your name?
Hello.
Hey, man. How you doing?
My actual name's Richard, so if you want to just refer to me
Richard.
Richard, it's fine.
Sure. Hey, Richard.
Yeah, so I just stumbled across your channel, and I was watching one of your conversations with a previous caller. You were talking about moral realism, and that there's the idea that there are moral truths, and God creates an objective morality.
Right,
I don't understand what that would look like, because objective means independent of any mind. And subjective means dependent on a mind. I don't see how morality could exist without any minds existing. So if you were going to say God creates objective morality, I would see objective as a misnomer. You could say that God has infinite wisdom and knowledge, and he would be able to create a universe where there's the least amount of suffering, the most amount of well-being, things like that. But the idea of something like well-being being good, suffering being bad, those are subjective principles. The only way you can ground those principles would be in just personal preferences. So God would have the personal preference for there to be the most amount of well-being, the least amount of suffering. And again, he might have infinite wisdom to generate moral rules or moral values that would result in the most amount of well-being, the least amount of suffering. But that would still be subjective.
Okay. So God is a mind. God has a mind, and so therefore the basis of morality comes from him. And I think that I would say most humans would agree there are things that are truly wrong, things that are wrong not just to them, but not to others, but wrong for all human beings to do.
Well, that would only
I'd
make it
say
universal, not objective.
But the basis of it is it just because I think it's wrong, does that make it wrong? No. I need something that's actually makes it accountable to someone else. So if I tell a murderer you can't murder, I need a standard to actually say why he can't murder. If it just says I just don't like it, that doesn't make it wrong, right? But and even if a lot of people think it's wrong, that doesn't make it wrong either.
Can you clarify that? Because you're saying if you were to tell a murderer that murdering is wrong, that doesn't make it wrong.
Correct.
What would make it wrong in your view?
If there was a standard by which he and I were both accountable to.
Okay, but a legal system would keep him accountable. So
Right.
why would
Problem
you need God as a grounding?
Yeah, because then you've got, say, in Nazi Germany, Hitler saying it's okay to murder Jews and other people. And so therefore, in that society, there's no legal system to say that murdering a Jewish person was wrong. But it would still be wrong for them to do that, even if there was no legal system saying you couldn't. So there needs to be a standard that's higher than just governments, a standard that's applicable to all human beings. And it makes sense that standard is God and the laws that he creates.
Right. Okay. So I'm seeing one glaring issue. Let's say, well, actually, no. I don't understand how accountability would generate this idea of there being a right or wrong. Even if somebody couldn't be held accountable, you could still say they're doing something wrong.
If you're saying based on the legal system, you could say that. Or if you're saying it's like some family rules that you might have, you could say based on that, I think it's wrong. But if someone's like, those family rules don't apply to me, or the government law don't apply to me because I'm in a different country, whatever it is, then it's just...
Well, we could say God is like the ultimate authority over all legal systems, over all governments, things like that. But I don't understand how God being able to hold somebody accountable, punish them for their actions, would objectively make it right or wrong. That just means there's a consequence to disobeying God. It doesn't mean God's moral principles are objective. It would still be subjective.
Yeah,
it's just that there's a consequence.
The basis of them is God's nature. So God didn't arbitrarily make up some right or wrong rules. He just said, my nature is to be moral. And so therefore, I am going to tell my creation that I've made, this is how you should live. And if you don't, it's wrong, and there will be consequences.
Okay,
there will be punishment for that.
That's actually interesting. So you're suggesting that God did not create moral values, but moral values were something that exist outside of God, and God adheres to those moral values?
Not outside of God. No. As I said, they're based on his own character and nature. So they're not some sort of external standard that's imposed upon God. They come from God himself. They are his character and nature. Now, can I just ask you, like, do you believe in God yourself?
No, I'm atheist.
Okay, you're atheist.
And
why are you an atheist? Why are you an atheist?
I haven't seen enough evidence to convince me. And I should also mention I'm also an existential nihilist. That's why I'm having this debate with you on moral realism. And a
So,
lot of...
are you saying that there is no God? Or are you saying you're not sure if there's a God?
I would say there's no God.
Okay.
I don't think it's past like the burden of proof to where I would say
So what
there is
makes
a
you
God.
say, so what would make you say, because you're not just saying you're not sure if there's a God, which is where you should be if you don't think there's enough evidence. You should say, I'm just not sure if there's a God
Well,
because I don't
look,
have evidence. But you're actually making the claim that there is no God, which then puts you with a burden of proof to try and substantiate that.
no, if somebody were to come to me and say that they're talking to an interdimensional dragon that only they can see or hear, there's no way for me to disprove that. They could be talking to an interdimensional dragon. I don't think it's reasonable to assume that, well, it could be true, could not be true. I'm going to be agnostic about everything. I think the way we make inferences is we kind of assume that something doesn't exist if we're going to make really kind of fantastical claims. But like, I will say this, if you're able to convince me, and I think moral realism would be a way to convince me that a God could exist. But back
what
to
I'm going to say is this, though. Just hold up. What I was saying is that if I make the claim, or actually, let's say if you make the claim, there is no money in my wallet. I need to now, well, I would need evidence from you. If that was a rational claim, you would have to have knowledge about what is in my wallet to make the claim that there is no money in there. If you
Well, look,
don't have knowledge about what is in my wallet, then you shouldn't make the claim there is no money in your wallet. You just make the claim, I don't know if there's money in your wallet. That's the more neutral position than saying there's.
just to be clear, I'm not trying to argue with you that God doesn't exist. I think you can either be a moral realist or a moral anti-realist and still believe in God. And we can continue the discussion about moral realism with the assumption that God exists.
But the problem is, though, is that you've come to the conclusion that God is not real, but I don't think you have a rational basis for that. And that's my point, is that a lot of people come to the conclusion God's not real. They say that God's not real without any evidence to prove that God's not real. When the more neutral position is not God's not real, it's I don't know if there's a God. That's the neutral position if you don't have evidence either way. Now, I would say there is evidence for God's existence,
right?
But if you don't have evidence against God's existence, you shouldn't say that he's not real. Just
okay,
like
well, again, I don't think it's reasonable to just say something might exist just because somebody makes the proposition. Again,
if you don't have
interdimensional space dragon.
Say you don't know.
Okay, well, I don't.
Right?
God could exist, and I could be wrong. But back to the moral realism topic. I think you were talking about God having being of intrinsic good.
So basically, because we're in God's universe, he can set rules. Like, he can set morality. He can tell us what we can and can't do.
Right.
And I think the issue is, though, is that all of us have broken his rules and said, God, I don't want you. I would rather be in charge. I'm the authority, not you. And we do what's evil. And that is what makes God rightfully angry at us for our sin. Hence why there's a judgment day. Hence why you need Jesus to forgive you of your sins.
Sure, but
right?
When you say God is inherently good, that's just in his nature. What makes that objectively good?
God is the standard of what is objective, what is good. In fact, he's the whole standard of truth itself.
So if God were to be a being that, say, took pleasure in the suffering of others, that would be objectively good?
If that was the standard, then yeah, whatever God determines is what's good, he's the standard. In fact, God does receive glory for punishing people in hell.
So,
and he allows that to happen because it's a demonstration of his justice. But my question for you is, like, do you think you would, let's say, okay, so if God exists,
I want you to clarify before we move on. I'd like you to clarify something. When you say he's the standard of what's good, do you mean to say that he's the ultimate judgment, or are you making a different claim?
Judge?
Like, right, he would be the judge, but is is he the standard because he's the judge, or is he the standard because what he says is objective?
Well, it's both. I don't think it's one or the other.
Okay, so how would God's moral judgment be objective when moral standards come from his mind? So if God doesn't exist, then these moral standards wouldn't exist.
So basically, the point is that morals are not like, if I think murder is okay or you think it's wrong, that would be like, if it was subjective, then my opinion is as right as your opinion.
Right.
When I don't think that's how we act, I think you would actually say murder is wrong. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would agree with you. What I
Okay.
disagree with you
So-
is that murder
So
is
then
objectively
it's
wrong.
not subjective. So then it's not subjective.
No, that doesn't prove it's not subjective. That just means we have the same values.
But why do you think it's wrong?
Because I have a personal preference against murder.
Yeah, but why does it make it wrong?
Well, I ground it in my preferences. So
Yeah, but
my
why your
preferences.
preference is right. Maybe your preferences
Okay, well,
are all
why
wrong,
is
so
God's
why do you think
preference?
it's-
Okay, well, why are God's
You see the
preferences
point?
right or wrong?
Yeah, because we're not the authority in this universe, and so that's why our personal.
Well, we're our own
preferences-
moral authority.
No. Now we make decisions, and we have a conscience that can help convict us when we're doing evil and doing sins, but we're not the authority, and that's why there needs to be a greater standard that's above us.
When you say we're
which
not
we-
the authority, do you like? I'm confused what you mean by that, because you mentioned that God is the ultimate judgment, and sure, we can agree that if there were a God that exists, and we can assume that God exists for the sake of the discussion, sure, he's
God-
more powerful than me.
I
He's
think
more
there's very
powerful
good
than
evidence for
anything.
that.
Sure,
I think there's
sure.
very good evidence for that. But the thing is, I think we've gone on this moral subject for a while, but I think the key point is, if we want to be, in essence, the boss of our own life, we won't want to acknowledge a greater authority than us. And I think that's what you don't want to. You don't want to acknowledge an authority who can say, this is objectively wrong to get drunk. It's objectively wrong to lust and to swear and to do those sort of things, because then it will make you feel guilty. And two, that would mean you'd have to change your behavior, which we as humans often don't want to have to change our behavior if we enjoy doing something.
Well,
And so my encouragement, because I don't have much time, and obviously we're not here for a debate, but what I am here for is I actually want to encourage you to acknowledge that you've done wrong in your life. Do you agree that you've done wrong?
Absolutely, yeah. I've eaten meat before I became
And so
vegan.
then if you've done wrong, such as lying or swearing or lust or being rude and other things like that, you're going to have to be held accountable before God for that. And that's going to be a terrifying thing. My hope, though, is that you'll come to realize that you're not in charge, and you trust that Jesus took the punishment while you still can, because one day it'll be too late.
Sure.
Now, I would love to keep chatting. It's just that time is getting on, bro. So thank you for the
Okay.
time. But I just,
by the way,
thank you for the chat. God bless you, man.
would it be possible to actually set up a longer debate with you on this topic?
My interest is, it depends, because for yourself, I don't think you want to believe God's real, right?
I actually am very curious, and if there is the existence of a god or supernatural beings, I would like to know. And the reason why I talk to people like you is because I would like to know if there's a good argument for something. I would like to know. I think it would be very important to, if there is a god or if there are supernatural beings, to know of their existence. So
if there was evidence for God, would you believe in God?
Yeah, if there was adequate evidence, certainly.
Okay. If Christianity was true, would you become a Christian?
Depends on what you mean by that.
So believing Jesus is God, worshiping him, following his rules, his standard of morality, everything the Bible has to say, basically.
Well, let's say we discovered some sort of text in Christianity that told us we needed to commit mass murder. I would not follow that standard, even if you could prove to me that God created that standard.
Right. I mean, you don't have that in Scripture. You have Jesus saying, "Love your neighbor as yourself." So based on what the Bible actually says, not a hypothetical, but actually just based on what the Bible says, if it was Christianity was true, would you believe it? Or would you become a Christian and follow it and so on?
I might not follow every single tenet because I have seen things in the Bible that I disagree with, like slavery. So
The Bible doesn't encourage you to do slavery.
I know. Well, I know it doesn't technically encourage it, and there are a lot of passages that talk about slave trading being unethical. But there are some things that I might come across that I disagree with. You could certainly convince me that God exists. You could convince me that Jesus really rose from the dead. You could convince me of those things, but that doesn't necessarily mean I would agree with God's own moral principles.
So there are certain things that God says you shouldn't do that you wouldn't want to change, right?
Well, it depends. So if it comes to something like swearing, I could change that. If it comes to something like giving people unequal rights under the law, that's not something I'd want to change. I think everybody should have equal rights under the law, including animals.
Okay. And so then if God says, like, don't have sex before marriage and don't get drunk, would you say, okay, not going to do them anymore?
Well, I don't drink. The only drugs I have done are psilocybin mushrooms. But I've done that for therapeutic reasons. Yeah, sure. I'm not somebody who does drugs. I am married, by the way.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, lust and things like that, God says we shouldn't do. Thinking about lustful thoughts about someone we're not married to. I think the Christian worldview does change our behavior. And that's what holds a lot of people back from wanting to trust in Jesus, because they know I'd have to change a lot. I wouldn't be the boss of my own life. I wouldn't set the standards. And I think you'd have to realize as well that humans are made in God's image, not animals. And so you wouldn't elevate animals and humans as
Well,
being the
let me
same.
ask you this. You asked me if you found out that God commanded you to not drink or have sex before marriage, would you do it? If you found out that God commanded you to not eat animals, would you go vegan?
It's just that, yeah, if God set that as a law, you can't eat certain foods, of course I would seek to obey that. Just like God doesn't say that. Jesus himself ate fish.
I would
Jesus
recommend
himself
you
ate
watch
lamb.
Christspiracy, the documentary. You might be interested in that.
I'm not interested in conspiracies. I know what the Bible says. I know Jesus in John 21 ate fish.
Well,
He cooked
the documentary Christspiracy actually looks into whether or not Jesus was vegan or ever ate meat. So you might want to take a look at that.
I follow what the Bible says. I don't follow conspiracy theories because I read the Bible. I know what the Bible says, and it clearly says that Jesus ate meat. And in fact, if you read through the Old Testament, read through Leviticus, Exodus, God commands the sacrifice of animals. He's telling them to continually kill animals over and over again.
Why would
very
I?
comprehensive.
Okay, so why would I follow a God that is supposedly all good, all moral, but recommends animal sacrifice? Like, why would slitting an animal's throat open be morally acceptable?
The reason is because it's a picture of the fact that we deserve death for sin. Sin makes someone deserving of death. And so in God's universe, he allowed the Jewish people to have this sacrificial system as a picture to show, look, your sin is so serious, it means death, but I'm going to let these animals die in your place as a picture of what the fact that Christ would one day die as the final sacrifice to pay for your sins, so you don't have to do the animal sacrifices anymore. So that's why we don't do animal sacrifices as Christians. But God can make animals, and he just like he can make the trees, and we can cut down trees, and we can kill animals for food and other things like that, and that's not wrong. God made these animals for that purpose to benefit humans.
So you're telling me
Noah,
you're telling me an all good God would allow animals to get brutally murdered by having their throats slit open? How would that be all good and all loving?
The same reason why you can cut down a tree and that's not wrong, because
well, a tree doesn't have feelings.
God says, but why does feelings make something wrong? I think this thing, you don't actually have a base for why you think it's wrong. You said, it hurts to murder. Yeah, but why is that wrong? You've got no basis for morality under his worldview.
would okay, so
I
I'm
do,
just
though.
wondering I'm just wondering why would God make it wrong to kill humans but not animals?
The reason is because he made humans in his image, but not animals. That's the big difference.
So supposedly if there were humans that were not made in his image, you'd be okay with killing those humans?
Every human is made in his image.
Well, supposing
So therefore,
not well, you only assume that. There
no, God says that every human being is made in the image of God.
well,
And so that's the thing. It's God sets the standard, man. If God set the standard this, we can't question and say, actually, no, I think it's otherwise.
so if
We
God
are
set
not
the
made of
standard that
morality.
so if God set the standard that say raping a underage girl would be okay, that would be okay?
Again, his standard, his morality is that he will always do what's good for people. He always encourages us
He'll
to
always do
love
what's
our
good
neighbor
for
as
people but
ourselves.
not animals.
Because guess what? Animals are not made in God's image. Same thing. Are you doing good to trees by cutting them down? Are
Well,
you by eating lettuce? Are you actually doing good?
I don't know
But we
how
have to
you
wrap
could
this up.
say
We have to
that.
wrap this up. We have to wrap this up because time's going on. I do have to go on to something else. But it's good chatting to you, man. Maybe another day we can chat. But yeah, appreciate the conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good chatting to Richard.
Well, that guy's a jackass. What a surprise. All right, let me take a look at the donos.
Hey, let's get some ice cream.
How about this one? Pistachio, almond fruit fudge, butterscotch delight.
Ingredients: zinc trisodium aspartate, sorbitol and bisulfate, oxide beta-carotene, lactic acid carabine. Grade A milk emulsified, maltodextrin alkylide, silicon dioxalide, lots of sugar. Hey, all right. Calcified.
Ugh. It's probably where Flav City or Paul Saladino get their idea to your manga about food additives. Probably. Will Mage donated $2. That Christy Stinky Butthole is being banned. What will be your next donation goal idea? I don't know. I'm not totally sure. Thanks for the donation though, dude. W donated $2. Check out the nunchaku scene. Let's see.
Have a little fun game to see which one's which.
Oh, I think I've seen clips of the show before. Yeah, wasn't there like a bus fight in this show?
Ronnie, you're hurt, man. Windpipe's busted, man.
Alright, I might watch this show now.
Barry, we're done.
It's not what we do. A beautiful morning. Where is the sheep? Fuck these next 24 hours.
I might watch this. Thanks for the donation, dude. W donated $2, or sorry, not W. The Only Path donated $2. Thoughts on claim? Let me see.
Carrots and cancer risk, the science. A Danish study followed over 55,000 citizens for more than 25 years. Analysis of data found that regular consumption of raw carrots was associated with a reduction in lung cancer by 24%, pancreatic cancer by 21%, and leukemia by 9%. Processed carrots did not reduce the risk of any cancer. Cooking appears to destroy and decrease the anti-cancer nutrients. Another analysis of 80 studies confirmed eating carrots 5 times a week reduces cancer risk by 10 to 20%. The humble carrot is one of the keys to reducing your risk and growth of cancer.
Plausible. I know that's. I know they have found benefits to consuming cooked vegetables for cancer risk in other studies, but
A serving is.
Yeah. Let me see.
Did you hear about this?
Let me take
Make
a look.
this a meme.
Fans say Lady Gaga should be in prison after performing in the middle of the crowd while sick with COVID. Yeah, she probably should. That's knowingly and willingly spreading a disease. Let me see. The Ontario College of Psychologists ordered me in for my mugshot today. He keeps lying about that trial that he has with the Ontario College of Psychologists. He fucking agreed that he needed to change his behavior. He's such a fucking dishonest liar. Thanks for the donation, Grandam.
Good God, that guy's entry excuse was just do what God says, don't question it.
Yeah, it was pretty retarded. I couldn't really have a debate with the guy. He kept trying to change the topic and like convince me to become Christian and shit like that. Thanks for the donation though, Dodo.
If God made us in his image, then he or she must be a humanoid-looking animal that pisses, shits, masturbates and is not much different than the animals he or she supposedly is okay with having killed for taste pleasure. That dude was a fucking idiot.
Like, what's funny too is, I was gonna bring up this point. He's saying God made mankind in his image, but he did not make animals in his image. Then why do animals share such a high genetic similarity to us? Why do they have the same overall body plan? Like, you can look at whales, animals that are very different from us, but the actual bones in their fins look like the bone in a human hand. A lot of animals share like a similar body plan. They have a rib cage, they have vertebrae, they have femur bone, tibia. Like, we share so much similarities. So like, to claim that God didn't make animals in his image, like it doesn't really make sense when you look at it from that standpoint. And like, I have secular values, so the idea that it's okay to commit murder because God says so is just fucking retarded. But thanks for the donation, dude.
Do is put in a scoop of protein. Then you're gonna wanna add about a cup of almond milk to the mix. Then you're gonna add some protein, and then I usually throw in a whole banana. Then we're gonna add some protein. Now what I like to do, just for a little bit of taste, is add some protein. Then I usually add 1/2 of protein. Now of course it wouldn't really be a shake without some ice cubes. So we're gonna add some protein, take some ice cubes, dip them in protein, throw them in the mix, then add some protein, and then, and only then, can you add some protein and blend?
That's what I do. Oh my god. Hyrax. Oh my goodness. Wow. That's a nice Hyrax. I really like Hyrax. Group of ducks witnessed the meteor that fell in Portugal. Oh. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Look at them looking at the meteor. That's really cute.
A scientist in Peru captured this.
That's funny. Also, do you think it's likely AR movement has been infiltrated? Let me see. I asked ChatGPT how governments, elites implement divide and conquer, and its significance to our movement was interesting to say the least. In the context of government and politics, divide and conquer refers to a strategy used to maintain control and power by breaking up larger, more powerful groups into smaller, less threatening ones. Here's a detailed explanation of how it works. Identify potential threats. Government identify groups or alliances that could pose a threat to their authority. These groups might be political opponents, social movements, or even factions within their own administration. Once identified, efforts are made to create divisions within these groups. This can be done through various means, such as promoting internal conflict, spreading misinformation, highlight and exacerbating existing differences. Yeah, deepening divisions. I've seen this shit before. The FBI has infiltrated animal rights organizations before, particularly open rescue organizations. But the only time that I've heard of them infiltrating an animal rights group was to make undercover arrests. So they were undercover sting operations. They weren't these more, I don't know, elaborate strategies where they'll have informants or agents go into an animal rights group, never blow their cover, and, I don't know, create some sort of internal drama to break up the group. I've never heard of anything like that. Thanks for the donation, though, dude.
You should set a donation goal to watch The Sopranos. I really think you would it. There aren't really any glaring plot holes I can think of. It would be very unrealistic for an actual mob boss to see a shrink, but you just have to suspend disbelief there.
I don't know. I see that as plausible. Let me see. Donation goal to watch The Sopranos. What should I set it at? How about 700? Oh, wait. Actually, I'll set it at 650. There we go. Thanks for the donation, dude.
Draw Christy sitting in front of her laptop with her head in her hands crying, and on the Vegan Gains YouTube page the word banned on her screen. Ha ha ha, na 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 na, hey hey hey, goodbye skank, and also Gig in the corner jacking off to her tears.
Okay, I can do that for you. Thanks for the donation, less is more.
Also, can he answer this? If humans are made in God's image, then why are there non-human animals like chimpanzees that can mourn their dead?
This chimpanzee has been carrying around her dead baby for the last 3 months. The mother, Natalia, lost her child after only a few days and has clung onto the body ever since.
Well, it is fucking retarded. His whole worldview is insane. Like, he seemed to have two conflicting viewpoints where, one, God is all good, and actually, no, maybe not. Like, he just takes good to mean anything God says. So if God said raping children is good, it would be good. Which, I mean, like, at that point, it's so weird. It made no sense. I didn't really get to do a moral realism debate with him. Like, we didn't really get into it, and he didn't make an argument for why God's moral views are objective. He just said God is the ultimate authority. Like, yeah, we can agree that God's a big bully and he can do whatever he wants and punish you if you do something he doesn't like. I don't know why that means his values are objective. That's really the only argument he made. Thanks for the donation, though, man. Zionist Burgess donated $2. This is you haven't... Sorry, you'll enjoy this if you haven't seen it already. Let me see. Oh, yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, this girl is a crazy bitch.
I got some psycho bitch who just got in my truck and was driving it.
Free Palestine!
In downtown Detroit and
It's
East
for my
Lafayette.
future kids. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Free Palestine.
Just trying to do my job. Homeless drug addict.
Free Palestine! I said! Free Palestine!
Get the fuck out of my truck.
Yeeted. Yep, that's what you gotta do with them.
Come on man, you've been edging us for weeks now on banning Christina. And now when you did finally decide to ban her and her holes, you do it off stream. What's up with that? Can you unban her and then ban her on stream please? Nickel?
Well, I didn't do it off stream. We got the donation goal on stream, so. But yeah, she wasn't in the chat, and then I banned her. But you know, what can you do? Thanks for the donation, though, Purple Hat Man.
Good evening VG. I hope that you are doing great tonight. So, check out this post showing the demographics of vegetarians/vegans in European countries. The European countries have it made lol gr.
Let me take a look. Huh. So that's percentage of vegetarians and vegans. Sweden and is that Norway or Finland or something? That sounds too high. I don't know. I don't know if I believe that. Thanks for the donation, though, finger my ass. Alright. People still talking about me in chat?
Okay. I'm gonna try this one more time. Las or Allah? Am I close?
Nasr Allah.
Las or Allah? I don't want to mess up your name, but I will just.
I didn't.
Yeah.
Write it.
Oh, subscriber mode only. They're still talking about me in chat.
Because it's a duo chat. But
let's see. Let's do this drawing request.
What do you think of the Godfather films? I loved the first two. I personally think the third one wasn't as bad as people say.
I only saw the first Godfather film. I didn't see the second. I thought the first was overrated. It's not this amazing, you know, like best ever crime drama ever made. It was. I'd give it like maybe a 6.5, 7 out of 10. It was just okay, like maybe a bit better than okay. Just compared to other crime dramas that exist, like Goodfellas. Goodfellas is just so much better. So when you compare it to everything else, it's just, you know, it's just a little bit better than okay. Thanks for the donation, though, nigga. I still gotta watch the second movie, though. Let's see. Draw Christie sitting in front of her laptop with her head in her hands, crying on the Vegan Gains YouTube page. The word banned on her screen. Ha ha ha. Na 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 na. Goodbye, skank. And gig in the corner jacking off. Okay. Let me see. Ugh, jeez, I hate it that it does that. Why? Okay. Actually looks like she's praying. How'd it look from the side? I don't know. I think that's as good as it's gonna get. Um, oh wait, let's see. And Gig in the corner jerking off. Be funny if this Christian guy came in on my stream and saw me doing this. Okay, so there's Christy crying with her hands in her face about her getting banned, and Gig is in the corner jacking off. Hope you enjoyed that.
See, there's a cop right.
Did you sleep well? Any new Frank stuff to watch?
I slept okay. Let me see. Frank Tufano. LA restaurant vlog. 50 fucking minutes. Okay, we'll watch that next. Thanks for the donation, James.
Right there, right in front there. And he doesn't give a shit.
Pick a rule, should I rap or sell drugs? I gotta pick a rule. I ran 3 times this week.
All right, now he's in the fucking bike lane. Now I am not a fan of bike lanes, honestly. I'm not a tree hugging liberal. I'm kind of liberal, but I'm not a fan of bike lanes. I don't know what it is. They just bug me. But what the fuck are you doing? You know, what if somebody just all of a sudden you're going down this skinny lane, and if there's a bicycle in there and you run somebody over, you're gonna kill them. I don't have confidence in myself in driving like that. I know he thinks he's a professional driver.
Made the bank, did it, but my cousin captured the fight. I got take with it.
And then to top it off, this is for his channel, right? So he puts these reckless videos up, and what is that? What do we call that? That's self-snitching. I mean, you put something on the internet, it's there permanently. And how hard is it going to be for the cops to do a search warrant and get all the records from the internet, from Google or whoever, well, Google because it's YouTube, and have that trace that back to him? Not that hard. Let me tell you something about being 19 years old. He's 19 years old, and one of the things that you think about the world when you're 19 is that you fucking know everything, right? You think you've learned all there is to know. Now you're 19. You're not 18. You're not in high school anymore. You got your shit going on. Well, do you remember we did a video a little while back? This young man got a brand new car, and he had a pretty girl into it, and they were 19 as well. And he's doing the same fucking thing. And he goes under a semi, and basically they get decapitated. Whether it's him in the car or somebody outside the car. It's just the danger is there. So the idea of going for a fucking joyride seems fun, and let's go race and all that kind of stuff. If you want to race, get a fucking race car and go around the track. Don't do it on the street.
This guy's a complete asshole.
I don't know if you guys remember last summer when I went on my motorcycle trip. It only takes one little misstep. We were doing everything right. We weren't doing this. And this broad just came out into our lane and smashed our head on our lead rider. It doesn't take much to take a life away. He didn't die, fortunately. But it is what it is. So they got these videos, and you're a fucking judge sitting on his case. Guess what? There's your aggravation right there. So he's honking his horn, and that's the other thing. All he's got to do is piss off somebody. And what this has done with the cops in New York City is, because he was successful in outrunning them several times.
Mirroring was once considered something that made us human, when in reality we share that knowledge with many species. How can that guy not understand that?
He's a selfish jackass. So, that's all there really is to it. It's so strange. I'm asking him, what is the objective basis of, God's morality? He couldn't answer. He's just saying, well, God's the ultimate authority, which is not answering the question. What I got from him is that, oh, well, God's a big bully, and he basically is the one who, deals punishment. And since God isn't going to deal any kind of punishment if I kill and eat animals, then, whatever. That's all I really got from him. But that doesn't mean there's any moral truths. It just means, okay, there's no punishment for you doing that. The guy's a jackass. Thanks for the donation, though, Dodo.
It gives them motivation to fucking bust him. And let me tell you something. There's no motivation better than or more stronger than a cop who's been burned. So no doubt he's probably taken the plates off, because I'm sure that's one of the first things that they do. So let's go to Tommy G's interview with him. Tommy G does a lot of documentaries. We did a reaction to Punch Made Dev. You can go back and watch that. And we're probably going to do a collab with him. Take a look at this, and this is more reason. This just drives me nuts, because if there's anything you can do about a particular case in terms of a defense, it's ruined by your defense is ruined by putting it on the internet. Let's just see what they have to say.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how wanted would you say you are? probably a 10. Nobody's more wanted than me.
Really?
Yeah.
That's insane.
It started like about a year ago. I got my first Benz, and I always did like little driving videos, and I never really took it to nothing. And then my boy started saying like, you know, mad people are blowing up off this, and I was just like, you know, that's just how it started.
I'm curious.
Whenever you say "fuck it," that just shows, you know, a lack of insight what can happen tomorrow. And the 19-year-old brain, guess what?
Way better route. And then obviously I don't tell these guys on the street that.
Did you ever get blown up by the tour people asking what the hell happened?
They do ask, and then like I kind of just like, you know, I'm just driving the car, you know what I mean?
I was just driving the car, you know what I mean? I mean,
Did you see this, Cancer? Also watch The 8 Show on Netflix. One of the best shows that ever came out.
I don't disagree with everything Pearl said.
Are women the source of all evil? Yeah, that sounds retarded. Let me take a look at this.
All right,
shit.
so we're living in bizarre.
I can't watch. Oh wait, this is Jubilee. Okay, Greg reacted to it. I can probably react to this.
Water
What else is
drench.
there?
Get more.
Personal Grooming 101. I'm not gonna bother watching that one.
Welcome to How to Cook That. I'm Ann Reed.
Debunking TikTok recipe and BPA. How to cook that. Maybe I'll watch that later. Watch the 8 Show on Netflix, one of the best shows that's ever come out.
Look. Now draw 6 gigs jacking off in 6 different styles or angles. Scribble scribble Burgess no calves Burgess Salvador Dali Burgess keep the video running bitch nnnnnnnnnnnnn.
All right, I can maybe do that for you. Thanks for the donation, dude.
Destiny has a cat now and plays with him on stream doing the cuddle voice and everything. Bro is seriously so full of crap. Hilarious when you tried showing that video he just ran.
Yeah, he's completely full of shit. I'm gonna bring it up to him and call him out for being dishonest next time I see him on. But thanks for the donation, Hunter Toby.
난 그저 시간
일종의 콘텐츠인 거죠.
뜻한다.
That just looks gay. I don't think I'm gonna watch that.
I wasn't really beating the shit out of it.
It's danger, but there's also other people at risk when you do that. Innocent civilians. So what do you think about the element of danger for that?
I've been doing this since like real shit since I was 9. I used to take my dad's car out and I used to just bug out. I've been doing this for so long now that I feel like I did some professional at it, like, you know, they...
I'm dead ass professional. So once you lose the fear of an accident and you think you're, you know, invincible, that's when the danger comes. I ride a motorcycle, and I've been riding a motorcycle since I was 18 years old. And I'm afraid, not afraid, but I mean, I'm careful because I'm afraid of what might happen, like what would happen in Alaska or the Yukon where we got in that crash. You know, it was the most violent thing I've ever seen. And my buddy had been riding forever, and it was just somebody doing something stupid. It's only going to take one time for some. I mean, he could be killed. The people that in the other car or on the street could be killed.
You know, niggas know, like, that's how I drive. There's been incidents where I've gone out with people and they try keeping up with me and they've crashed.
How fast do you go?
I mean, there's been a video on live where I've gone one-handed 210 miles an hour.
Filming with one hand, driving with the other, 210 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
That's insane. Did that scare you?
Not really, just to build up a tolerance.
And if you kill somebody doing that, it isn't going to be manslaughter. Manslaughter is culpable negligence, gross negligence. That'd be more like unintentional murder too. Or felony murder, which is basically the same thing.
Do you feel like the police watch your Instagram?
100%, they do.
If you ever get into cat with that guy again, just bring up that other species can mourn like this poor creature here.
This chimpanzee has been carrying around her dead baby for the last 3 months. The mother, Natalia, lost her child.
I'll be sure to do that. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Pop in the car and keep the conversation going. How many people normally out compared to, like, am I in the high end of
Not even the high end, but
That's okay. Does your mom worry about you?
of course, I call her. She don't even want to hear the things that I'm doing. She be getting scared because she know I be doing shit, like, you know what I mean?
Do you know any friends that have gotten really hurt or died doing this?
My boy, he was racing and he macked up and he hit his head and his head like split open a little bit. He needed stitches, but like other than that, nothing's ever happened.
Other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, what did you think of the play? I mean, other than my buddy splitting his head wide open, I don't know if he died or not, but I mean, when you have that 19-year-old brain, it's so undeveloped. You know, you think that, you know, you get to your 20s and it's not till your male is like 26 where his brain's fully developed.
What's your take on titty slapping? Do you find it hot to give a titty a little slapping?
I'm more into spanking butts. If you're doing like bondage play or something, titty slapping can be hot. Thanks for that donation, Commissioner Gordon.
Tell me about the camera system in New York. How hard is it to evade capture or awareness of the police?
Super easy. A lot of people, like they be doing crimes with their plates on. Like, I mean, if I go and run from a cop, I'm gonna make sure I either have altered plates or no plates at all.
New York City is home to one of the most advanced camera surveillance networks on the planet. An Amnesty International project identified that there are more than 25,000 public and private cameras at traffic intersections across the city.
So the car is easily identifiable. It's on his page, and they can trace. You know, you get the records. Okay, where do the Google payments go to? Whose account do they go to? How hard is that? Michael just brought up a good point. He's 19. Generally speaking, you can't rent cars when you're 19. I don't know if Turo is different, but you know, he's probably got somebody else that rents the cars for him, that he cuts in on the deal.
This camera technology can capture faces and other details from up to 400 feet away. This infrastructure isn't cheap either. This camera technology, combined with cell phone tracking tools, spyware, and facial recognition, racked up nearly $3 billion in expenditures from the end.
Doesn't that look like something out of the future? I mean, that looks like nothing that I saw when I was a kid.
Expenditures from the NYPD from 2007 to 2019. When street racers run
React to this.
Let me take a look, Dodo.
I have had many conversations, as you have had, with a lot of young people over the last many months now. And you're right, they don't know very much at all about the history of the Middle East, or frankly about history in many areas of the world, including in our own country. Propaganda is not education. Propaganda, on whether it's TikTok or in the classroom, is actually the opposite of education.
So many of those extremists, those MAGA extremists, take their marching orders from Donald Trump, who has no credibility left by any measure. He's only in it for himself. He's now defending himself in civil actions and criminal actions. And when do they break with him? You know, because at some point, you know, maybe there needs to be a formal deprogramming of the cult members.
What I intended to say if I had been elected in 2016. My fellow Americans, today you sent a message to the whole world.
I can't. I can't. Like, come on. Come on, just be a normal person. First of all, don't read your victory speech that you shelled because you didn't win the election. Like, don't do that. It's a bad idea. But also, just be a real, why can't she just be a real person? I think it's from being in Washington for so long, she was programmed to not be a real person, and now she doesn't know how to be a real person.
Yeah.
No one does that. No one, like, it's just not real.
Yeah, every part of it's not real. The shot at her desk was even less real, like, oh. Are you here?
You said you have to defeat them by defeating their leader. Their leader is Donald Trump. Even you have said that you expect him to be the Republican nominee. How does this change at all?
At this point, I think, sadly, he will still likely be the nominee, and we have to defeat him. And we have to defeat those who are the election deniers, as we did in 2020 and 2022. And we have to, you know, just be smarter about how we are trying to empower the right people inside the Republican Party. So it is like a cult. And somebody has to break the
break that momentum. And that's why I believe Joe Biden will defeat him. And hopefully then that will be the end and the fever will break. And then Republicans can try to get back to, fighting about issues among themselves and electing people who are at least, responsible and accountable.
So, yeah, there's some folks that are feel displaced. Their rightful places at the top. And now it's not at the top. Now they have to be equal to everyone, and that really bothers them. Is it conscious for most of them? No, I don't. Probably even for the deplorable half, it's not conscious for most of them. It's mostly they have this uneasy feeling about how America's not the same anymore, and it doesn't look the same. Their neighborhood doesn't look the same, and they can't say the same things, etc. But the other half is the half that Hillary Clinton never.
I don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
In the city, it's
That
easy for
made no
governments to
sense
make
to
the
me.
argument to increase the surveillance in order to shut down this reckless and deadly behavior. However, this same technology can also be used to capture the profiles of millions of civilians on a daily basis, something that is currently happening in China and that many Americans are afraid of. As technology such as AI facial recognition and high-def cameras increase in quality, this is a challenge we are going to have to wrestle with to ensure the very tech that can help keep us safe also doesn't grow too powerful to infringe upon our freedoms.
What are the different penalties for if you got caught doing what we were doing?
Jail time. I'm running red lights. I'm doing more than triple the speed limit, double the speed limit. This is a lot.
See, you see what he's talking about there? Analyzing the penalties and not giving a shit. That's called a deliberate indifference to the law and to the people in front of your car. That is the thing that judges fucking hate the most, because you can have somebody go on a joyride once and get busted and it's not that big a deal. But a systematic pattern of flouting the...
All right, so here's the drawing request done. This is Gigliardo jerking off at 6 different angles and poses. Thanks for the donation, dude. Hope you enjoyed that.
law and doing this kind of stuff is...
Do you know of Danzy? No, I don't know who that is.
Something that a judge would use to enhance a sentence, for sure. Think about...
It only takes one mistake to permanently change or destroy somebody's life.
I do understand that. It's just like, we were also like, there was a lot of people, 12 o'clock in the morning, you seen in the video, like I stopped, looked around, made sure there was nobody, and started doing donuts. And then when I was running the red lights, I'm not gonna lie, I was low-key bugging. I low-key know how to run red lights. I've been chased by Mac cops to the point where I could blow the red lights doing 60, 70. No one...
Blowing red lights at 60 or 70 miles an hour.
They do so by altering or covering up their license plate so the
How to do like 3, 4, but the main thing was the helicopter.
You know, you think that 30, 40 minutes doesn't seem like a long time? Hold your breath for that long. I mean, when you're going balls out, that is a long time, actually.
Those are really hard to go with. Luckily, it was late night. I was in the Porsche, and that shit does 210 miles an hour. So I just hopped in the highway, you know what I mean? The helicopter can only go so fast.
You go faster than the helicopter?
Yeah, they only like top out like 150, 140. Cutting up.
Oh my motherfucker. Okay, easy, Tiger. Easy, 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 easy. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Hey, hey, hey. Hey. No more, no more. Ooh, that motherfucking made me...
Imagine me doing that.
At 100?
Yeah, less.
Burden videos where he's...
I'm sure there are a lot of young men that watch your content. What do you think about kids that want to go try and replicate this?
Oh my...
He's been himself. Do not come try this.
Don't do as I do. Do as I say. This. 2 reasons. 1, you can wreck your fucking car. You can wreck yourself. You can, and you can go to jail. So, speaking of jail, the New York Post, an obnoxious street racing influencer was finally arrested after he filmed a series of videos taunting cops in high-speed stunts with expensive cars across New York City and New Jersey, cops said. Queens daredevil Antonio Ginestri, 19, was nabbed last week after cops...
This guy is never getting his license back.
Linked him to the popular Squeeze Benz account on Instagram and Twitter, and now he's facing a slew of charges for reckless driving and eluding police, highlighted by videos he posted in his more than 1 million social media followers. One of the most prolific street racers in New York City can no longer treat the Big Apple like the Indy 500. according to it, NYPD police commissioner. And if you watch these videos, there's tells, there's little things they can say, oh, we got this hoodie. We've seen this hoodie before. We've seen this before. We've seen the way he talks. Even though he's got his face covered and his voice is disguised, it doesn't matter because there's ways that they can link it back. And especially just something as easy as, well, who owns Squeeze Ben's account? Where does that money go? My point is that this is all well and good, but it's not all well and good, right? Be safe out there. So this has been our reaction to...
what a fucking jackass. All right, let's watch this real
but
quick.
I feel like Pearl is someone who, I want to hear your thoughts on this. I feel like you kind of enrage bait people with your posts because you'll post something really like a super hot take on Twitter, and then like you'll make a video about it, and the video in turn is a lot more nuanced, a lot more, I guess, to have a conversation about it. But I guess that's one of the reasons why I don't necessarily associate on TikTok, whereas I'm just.
Well, I would say there's character limits on X, so you're not going to get a full opinion with like, I don't know, is it 60 characters? But I don't know, what tweets are you talking about? And I have like 18,000, so I don't know.
Well, we actually I wanted to be specific here because I did pull some of the ones up. I sent them to you. I didn't want to like ambush you or surprise you or anything like that. Let's see.
And the role of women in society, sorry, I was thinking what the second question was. Well, I think it depends, like what do we want it to be or what is it now?
Right.
And I think right now it's like, we're not really doing much. We're not really having kids. We're not really contributing to the economy when you look at output.
I don't know what the fuck she means by that. Women work.
So it's like, what do we want it to be or what is it? Because I wouldn't say women are doing what you described now.
Okay, well, one of the things that, like I spoke recently actually with Rachel's husband, Andrew, and one of the tweets that I mentioned that I thought was kind of strange coming from you was that basically you said evil comes from women. Andrew, in his interpretation, he made a very rational, very nuanced, actually, this is what she means. Is it not true that they're women?
Yeah, well, because I would just look at every problem in society. It all comes from women.
To be fair, I just realized this the other day, but did you know that Hitler was made by a woman? That proves it.
Well, it's like you look at the homeless. Most of them come from single mother homes. You look at school shooters. Most of them come from single mother homes.
So we're blaming women for single mother homes. Like, why doesn't the man have the responsibility to stay with his kids?
You look at criminals, rapists, most of them come from single mother homes.
I don't even know if that's true.
Look at what happens.
I don't even think that's true. They might have a higher likelihood of being criminals, but I don't think most of them come from single parent homes.
What happens when women get power? So when men get power, they build societies, they do awesome things. When women get power, we're just not very good with it.
I just brought up Hitler. I mean, I kind of feel like there's a lot of bad dudes,
Well, yeah, but there's also bad queens, right? If you look at queens the last 500 years, women are more likely to wage war. Women are way more violent with power, and we see that in society.
Women are more violent with power. Hitler, Stalin, Mao, Pol Pot, I think those were all men. Like, what is she talking about? Mao might have been responsible for as many as 80 million fucking deaths. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
You look at what women are doing in the court system today. What is more evil than breaking up a family? And women do that all the time. Yeah. So yeah, I would say most problems in society come from women.
So that's interesting.
Okay, this is fucking retarded. Whatever.
What's up, guys? I'm alive. I did not die of liver failure last night, but I do feel a little woozy. We're here at Baltair, which seems to be a steakhouse, honestly.
So I think he's alluding to his alcohol addiction.
I must have been looking add restaurants on Google Maps for like half an hour on my phone.
This is cool. First low mineral water I've had in a restaurant. I mean, I drink like Fuji low mineral water all the time myself. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got some grilled artichokes. Not what I expected. I'm guessing what they do is like, they take the leaves out and dip them in the aioli, which takes forever.
Yeah, bro, I am not.
Pearl is correct, women are not net taxpayers. So they are not contributing to the economy.
No. That makes no sense. I don't know what you mean by net taxpayers. Obviously, there's more very wealthy men who are going to have to pay higher taxes, but let me take a look at, let me see, tax revenue, men versus women. I'm sure it changes depending on what tax bracket you're in. Men benefit from tax incentives significantly more than women do, according to the analysis of federal tax breaks and loopholes by the Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives. The group calls for comprehensive review of tax expenditures and the closure of loopholes that exacerbate inequality. So, economist David McDonald found that 45 federal tax expenditures, deductions, credits, breaks, and loopholes, only 19% pay out more to women than men. Simply put, federal tax breaks are sexist, with men faring much better than women under the present system. Top 5 tax breaks that benefit men disproportionately are the employee stock option deduction, foreign tax credit for individuals, the spouse or common law partner credit. Well, okay, that one is a really weird one to mention because you only get that benefit when you have a dependent. So I get a tax credit or a reduction because Jasmine's dependent on me.
I am so glad that I never developed a taste for alcohol.
Yeah, same. I can't stand alcohol. I'm glad that I don't have issues with alcoholism. Thanks for the donation, James. Registered retirement savings plan, pension income splitting. So men benefit more from the tax system, generally speaking. According to the OECD, for full-time employees, there's a 17% difference between annual median earnings of women and men relative to the annual median earnings of men. For self-employed people, this gender wage gap is 28%. That's mostly due to productivity. I'd have to look into this more to see if, like, what proportion of tax revenue comes from men and women, but whatever.
I'm not down for this today. I'm just gonna like on Frankie's Free Range Foods, but
okay.
He eats tuna. Here we have tuna poke. I didn't know this came with avocado. Might not have gotten it, but I'm not gonna eat the avocado anyway. And then we have some bread here, which I don't think is fried. I'm not gonna be like.
This is terrible.
This is like a steak crostini. I think I'm missing some bread. Can you call this a sandwich? Did they forget to put the slice of bread on top? Oh, we can't have the fries. The steak sauce looks good, but
People in California are afraid of bread. I feel like I'm missing a piece of bread. Just everything from last night too.
Screaming babies.
So when I was coming home from the surgery, screaming baby in my ear on the flight. Horrible, horrible. But this was first class. First class, people paying like $2,000 each way, I think, something crazy. Maybe it wasn't that much, but it was a lot. But it was like shrieking, like horror movie shrieking baby the whole way.
What is Frank eating?
He was eating artichokes, tuna, and a steak. That's basically what he was eating. Thanks for the donation, James.
Home. And then on the way here, well, that baby was so loud. I wasn't that close to her, like, but she was somewhere in the same section, like on the plane, so maybe 10, 15 feet away. So it was so loud still. Now on the way here, I was right next to, I was in like comfort, which is like.
Mike donated $2. So this chick is one of those trad wife conservatives. Would you say your husband looks like he hasn't even graduated high school? I thought they like masculinity. The fuck? Yeah, he looks like he's 17. This trad wife shit is just, it's all bullcrap. All of it. I remember Lauren Southern talked about her trad wife marriage. Her husband basically just abused her constantly. But this guy looks like he's a fucking 17-year-old boy. Thanks for the donation, Mike.
A reasonably priced first class, so I just had one lady sitting next to me, but then right across from me in the middle aisle, I was on the left, there was a fucking couple with a baby crying most of the time. Maybe half the time the baby was crying and it wasn't that loud, but dude, I honestly I'm gonna complain to Delta about it. I'm gonna be like, this fucking old lady next to me fucking smelled, and no, she did smell a little bit, like old people smell, and then the fucking screaming baby next to me. I don't know how these parents do this shit, bro. I don't know how they. And the crazy thing is that for the baby to be crying like that and in so much pain, it's like, it's despicable. They should go to WiFiShilling.com and buy a knapsack for their toddler, and they should be fine.
Well, he hates screaming babies. I think that's one thing we have in common.
So we got bread pudding, probably too fatty, too much dairy, chocolate dinner later.
What's any bets? Thinking 165 is my guess. With tips. I got ordered artichokes, didn't really eat them. Going out to eat and then driving back for a restaurant vlog. Like, yeah, I don't think I don't feel like I'd want to do this again. You know, I mean, for me, this isn't that fun. Like, and I don't think there's a lot of restaurants in LA that I'd actually want to go to. But back to work. I got some business. Brushing your teeth. I don't know if you guys are caught. So we got 3 white balls. Better go to West Hollywood pool parties now, right? I want to have a small amount of the fatty version because bottled water. You guys know, like, I don't like. Part of me, like, I don't like doing this. Like, I'm going out to eat in these nice places, and you guys see I'm not really enjoying it that much. And like, I know most people can't afford to do that, and
more animals that died unnecessarily. Yes, Frank, I will send a vegan Vladislava Galagan fully maturated tea keep you company.
I think you mean to strangle him, but thanks for the donation, James.
like me giving that money away last year and always being generous and stuff. Bro, people must share this because the amount of time it takes to eat 3 scoops of sorbet is like fucking an hour. Selling sorbet to you guys. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, vlog number 3 is finished. Like everyone's focused on kind of what they're doing. The principles are the same, but it seems like the drive. I don't know what I'm doing. Probably Yeah, I'm definitely a dumbass with this Uber stuff. Because if I'm spending like 100, 120 bucks a day in Uber, I think the rental car might be way cheaper. Plus, I don't have to. I sit here wait 10, 15 minutes every time for Ubers. So, and the Tesla issue too. So I think if I come out here for 2-3 days, I wouldn't rent the car. But longer than that, I think it's worth it.
Okay, well that's Frank. He's still retarded.
Bizarro world where people don't see the truth.
But apparently, I'm wrong. Apparently, fat guys are hotter than jacked and fit men.
Was Christie finally banned?
Yes, we finally banned Christie. Thanks for that donation, James.
Coach Greg, and I'm going to be debating what was on the Jubilee show, of which I was a part of. And here's the question. Imagine not agreeing with this.
Jacked men are more attractive than fat men.
To me, that's like saying a 10 out of 10 supermodel.
So H5N1 is now starting to spread, and we see neither head or tail of Fauci and the rest of the health officials who were so vocal about protecting public health. Honestly, if it weren't for the fact that vegans will suffer too, I'd be excited about this.
I don't know why there's not much of a, talk from public health officials. Maybe they feel like they've just lost the battle or they feel like they can't implement any kind of social distancing policies anymore. Who knows, but, whatever, we're all gonna die anyway, Thanks for the donation, Twat Destroyer.
Is more attractive than a 1 out of 10. Well, obviously, but apparently I'm wrong. Apparently, fat guys are hotter than...
When was she banned?
She was banned last night. Thanks for the donation, James.
And jacked and fit men.
All right, so we're living in a bizarro world where people don't see the truth. Like, how is it possible that they're thinking, no, being obese and unhealthy is more attractive than being fit and healthy?
And so, shocker, the 4 fat guys sit there and act as if there's no difference. Hey, we're living in some bizarre world where girls all love dad bods. Or better yet, guys who are 400 or 500 pounds because looks don't matter. It's the personality that counts. We just like really nice men. We don't want hot guys that work out.
It's a really weird thing to say fit guys are better looking than out of shape guys. Like, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. What you can say is more people are going to find fit bodies more attractive. But it's not universally true, and it's certainly not objectively true. Ugh, is this all fucking Greg is gonna talk about for fucking 20 minutes?
Scout that train harder than last time. That else, you're delusional. People are gonna pick the guy who's singing to what.
Okay, great. So for 20 minutes, he's just talking about how he thinks fit people are better looking. Whatever.
What do you call it? Being a cuck? I had a wrong impression. I thought you watched.
No, yeah, well, because that's a meme. Because if you're like nowadays, there's no such thing as like an open or poly, whatever the people just all call it all cuckoldry.
Because I couldn't even get hard because he kept looking at me.
Was this the first time you guys are in front of each other?
Yeah, it was like it's weird because you're looking at it. You're looking. It feels
like you're looking at yourself.
The weird. And the guy's freaking me out. He's walking around stroking it, right?
Every single issue that comes out today is political. If a boat crashes into a bridge, it's because some Mossad agent did it to distract from Israel.
Right,
or there's a fire in Hawaii in the hottest place in the fuck.
That stanky asshole is back in chat, Nickel.
Yeah, I banned her, don't worry. Thanks for the donation, Poppy Mango.
It's because like Jewish space lasers are trying to drive up property costs. Like nothing can happen anymore without it being some crazy conspiracy.
Yeah, personally, I've had like people close to me that was like damaged by that vaccine.
Do you know anybody that died of COVID?
Family members on my wife's side.
How many?
3.
Jesus.
We came across you
Debating Nick Fuentes. You did something with Fresh and Fit. The main reason why we want you here is because majority of people that came on our podcast has been conservative.
Yeah.
And I don't want to put myself in, I'm just having conservatives come on. I want to actually hear other people's perspectives.
Sure.
Right. So, don't want to put myself in isolate myself like that.
Yeah, so we want to get your worldview, so we're going to ask you some questions.
Yeah.
What should we start with first? Relationships.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Relationships. Now, how many times have you been married?
Just be honest, you banned Christy because Jasmine found out about the secret kids you had together and then this happened.
भैया सुनिए, इस मनहूस को फिर से लड़की हुई, इसे घर से बाहर निकाल दीजिए।
Someone wanted you to react to this guy. You're welcome.
I'll take a look at that in a minute. Thanks for the donation, Grandam.
Are we going back to Doucette?
No. His video's pointless and boring. Thanks for the donation, James. Oh my god. What is this stupid video about? Yeah, that never happened between me and Christy. Let me take a look at these.
Why are so many Iranians happy that the president died? It's just come out that the president of Iran has died in a helicopter crash. I clicked on the comments and so many Iranians are happy about this. We Iranians are the happiest today. Freedom, Iran can be
Yeah, the guy was a murdering totalitarian dictator.
free. Congratulations to the people of Iran. They're the true Iranians and we're celebrating today. This is not what Islam teaches us. I'm so confused. Can someone please educate me upon this? Why would you be happy about this? Why are so many Iranians happy?
This guy's a fucking retard. Jesus Christ.
You know when oatmeal overflows if you forgot it in the microwave? Well, it happened today with my bowl of poop. Big brown bubbly mess. It made me puke on the shit, which made me cum. Big bowl of shit and piss and cum. Share the recipe with Jasmine.
Okay, I'll share that recipe with Jasmine. Thanks for the donation, microwave poop. This guy's channel is cancer.
Breaking news! Israel has just been attacked and you won't believe by who. This is going to shock you guys. Bees have just stung 12 Israeli occupants in Gaza. Bro, even the wasp knows the Breaking news, FIFA is banning Israel from world football. They're holding an urgent meeting right now to make a final decision if Israel should be banned from football. This is because of his war crimes against Palestine.
That's great.
Twice?
Twice. Me too.
All right, good job.
Yeah.
Are you on your second one now? Or are you looking for your third?
No. This one's working.
Okay, that's
The
good.
first one, I think I was just too young.
Okay.
I got married, I was 19, I was in the Marine Corps. And she got pregnant, and I was just trying to do the right thing. So,
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
So.
My first one was, I'm not like a big marriage guy. The first one was because of, it's a long story, but no, it's not that long. But if you know what the FAFSA is for financial aid for college and shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, when you go to fill out the college student aid application and you're like, oh, are you an independent? Of course I am. Because you're thinking like your taxes, but the way that the college looks at you to be an independent or not, there's a whole other list of qualifications. So I've been away from my parents for 2 years, and then I realized that their gross income is going to determine my financial aid, even though I don't get any support for them. So you either join the military, have a kid, kill your parents, get married, and of all the options. So me and my girlfriend in high school, we got married for financial aid. It worked for financial aid, and And then my most recent wife, we got she was Swedish and I was American, so obviously I want to live with my fucking girlfriend. So the only way for her to live in the U.S. is to get a green card to get married. So
Yeah. My wife is an immigrant from Mexico City.
Okay.
Yeah, she when Trump became president, she started freaking out. She thought she was going to get deported.
Yeah.
So my wife too. My wife's from Jalisco. But the thing is, a lot of people understand like politics and the TV. They scare a lot of immigrants, a lot of people of color. So she was actually a legal resident being in the country, but she went to CNN. I'm not sure where, MSNBC, but she actually thought that Trump was going to come to our door and deport her. So she
I've
became a
heard, yeah,
citizen.
people have like, you said she was a lawful person, so she had the green card? Yeah, and yeah, people say shit like that. It's like, if we're deporting the green card people, they would have had to have gotten through, that's like 20, 30, 40 million people.
Yeah.
How many millions of people are they going to start deporting in the United States? Like, there's no way that's going to happen.
Yeah. A lot of people get in relationships for a lot of different reasons. But your relationships have kind of been, what's the word I'm looking for? Extraordinary? No, unconventional.
Sure, yeah.
Right? Now, people call this, what do you call it? Being a cuck?
Yeah, that's the
You're
that's
a
the
cuck
one.
advocate.
Yeah.
It's like what Adam 22 is kind of doing, right? He
Yeah,
had
for a
post-
while. I don't know. if-
Yeah. But so I wanted to ask you this. We have a little experience in this, not actually. Well, we'll get to that.
Cuckoldry or?
I'll get to that.
Jesus. Okay.
So what is it about? Do you like? It's a tough question. Explain to us. No, shut up. Put my ask the question. So what about? You like watching other men have sex with your girl or your wife?
Grey Knight donated $2 more unhinged, pro-Palestinian. Let me see. I became Muslim because of Palestine? Oh my god.
Perhaps the most impactful country I've ever been to in my life. I went to Hebron. Man, that shocked me to my core. Wow. I got to a vantage point. I could see over the wall. I could see the rubble of old Arab houses, town blocks that had been destroyed, and I could see like a city, 150,000 people. Just next to like 500 settlers that was surrounded by military, surrounded by massive machine guns. And then I walk out onto the street and there these little 5-year-olds run up to me with no shoes on, offer me food straight away. First thing that happened, like these kids with no shoes, you know, they're obviously not got a lot of money. And the first thing they think to do to me, a Westerner walking out of an occupied area, first thing that happens is I get offered food.
They're probably expecting money in exchange.
And yet that's got to say something. So I think the kindness of the Palestinians, more than any other people I met, showed me truly what Islam.
What an idiot. Let me see.
For us, we believe that death begins. We believe that life begins at death. We don't care about death. We love death.
Fucking Muhammad Hijab. That guy is a crazy wacko terrorist and he needs to get deported, dude. Well, this guy lost a job. Let me see. I think this link is not going to work for me. I think it's blocked. Yeah, this link's blocked. Thanks for the donation, though, Grey Knight.
No, not really. No.
No. Explain to us. Explain to us.
So before the red pill shit, these are just called open relationships. But then after like the red pill stuff, people became obsessed. I call it cuck hunting, where people will like look for cuckoldry like everywhere. Like if your girlfriend like the guy, you know, like 5 months before you started dating her, people call you like a cuck. It's like an insane obsession.
Oh, okay.
But the I mean, like I'd say I have a decently high sex drive. I like to fuck around. Obviously, I've got a lot of access being a YouTuber guy. And if I date somebody,
A lot of
access, yeah.
People sliding in your DMs.
Yeah, of course, you guys, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
But the so like if I want to sleep around, I imagine if I'm going to date somebody, they're probably going to be sleeping around too, and yeah, because I don't think I could ever do. I know that in some of the communities, people advocate for these like one-sided, open-ended relationships, which just seems. I don't believe any of those actually work. I don't think they're even real. I think the girls are always fucking around. The guys are just naive.
Right.
So
I thought I was looking at it from a wrong perspective. I had a wrong impression. I thought you like watched your.
No, yeah, well, because that's a meme. Because if you're like nowadays, there's no such thing as like an open or poly, whatever people just all like call it all cuckoldry. So it's like
Right.
whatever,
Right.
but,
Yeah.
so-
We had some experience in that when I was in Marine Corps. No, this guy like.
What's that? Well, I got to hear now. What's the experience?
I'll tell you. So. I was a horny bastard when I was like 20, right? So I lived in Orange County, California.
Okay.
And it was the Orange County Register was the paper, and they had an adult classified section in the paper.
Oh, no.
There's no cell phones back then. But it's no cell phones or anything like that, so keep that in mind. It's like all we had was pagers, right? Yeah. So
I created an online account. Well, it's not even online. The internet wasn't even big yet. You would call this phone number, set up an account. I forgot how you pay for it. You would pay it over the phone or whatever, and they give you minutes. So you would go on this thing, right? So yeah, my name's Keith Hodge. I'm 6'2", black male. I'm in shape. I got green eyes and shit. you put your profile out, and then people hear your profile, and then they respond if they're interested. 3-4 days went by. I wasn't getting no love. I was like, man, this is some bullshit.
Yeah, racist, huh?
Yeah, racist people. They're not Negroes. But anyway, finally, I get a message. I'm like, I got one message. So I push the pound to hear the message. It's a guy. I'm like, oh, a homosexual, right? But it wasn't even that.
Yeah.
It was just a guy who was like into watching people have sex with his wife.
Yeah.
And I was like,
looking for that big black bull. Yeah, that BBC. That's what he's looking for. Yeah,
Right.
it runs along those communities a lot. Yeah.
yeah. So I said, you know what? This sounds kind of interesting. I said, but I'm not, man, this dude might not have to be Jeffrey Dahmer or some shit. So I said, I got a twin brother. Can I bring him along? He said, the more the merrier. So
Big keeps going.
Shut up. I'm telling the story. So I pick up Kevin. We get there. This is a white couple. They're in like the 50s. And big house. He's a lawyer.
Very fluent, man.
Yeah, and she's his secretary, and they work together. And we're talking. And I see a picture of 2 twin kids. I'm like, oh, you have twins. I was like, where are they? Oh, they're at grandma's house tonight. You ain't got to worry about them. But long story short, we had sex with his wife, and he watched.
Yeah.
It was crazy because I couldn't even get hard because he kept looking at me.
Was this the first time you guys are in front of each other?
Yeah, it was like, it's weird because you're looking at you're looking
It
at
feels
yourself.
like you looking at yourself.
The weird. And the guy's freaking me out. He's walking around stroking it, right?
And this dude, he's about this tall.
Yeah.
Short, fat, bald white guy. And
Yeah.
his mushroom tip is as wide as this.
No, it wasn't that big. It was like that bottle right there.
Well,
it was like this.
That's still pretty wide.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Who's you gonna fuck with that?
And he had Frankenstein stitches on the side of it. Like he had some kind of surgery. It was the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
And when I went up,
He was cock gazing, huh?
Well, you couldn't help because I was doing it. Then he just busted in the room. This fat potbelly Ron Jeremy looking dude.
You know, he's supposed to be watching you, right? Not the other way around. For
but he wasn't. He was just.
We was freaking out because he's watching us. Watch.
One girl, 3 guys in a room. The girl's getting the least attention, huh? You guys are all.
Jesus.
She's just along for the ride. Yeah. Okay.
He was freaking me out. He had a Frankencock. That's the biggest cock I ever saw in my life. I thought I was hard. This dude had a horse cock. I thought
he probably had some enhancements though.
Yeah, but
the stitches are for augmented.
Yeah. But that's what I was thinking because I had seen online people saying you're a cuck, but you're not a cuck. You
just open relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you think that's what hurt your marriages? Or do you think they were really love marriages? You just did it for like.
I love the people, but I'm not like a marriage guy. I'll do it if I need to. Like if I date somebody and they're from like another country, it's like, well, we have to get married, otherwise we can't live together. I'm not gonna.
Grey Knight donated $2. Here's the same video from TikTok, I guess. And imaginary genocide isn't worth being a software engineer. Is that worth the good pay for him? Let me see.
I'm a Google Cloud software engineer, and I refuse to build technology that powers genocide, apartheid, or surveillance. Project Nimitz puts Palestinian community members in danger. I refuse to build technology that's going to be used for cloud apartheid. No cloud for apartheid. No tech for apartheid. Free Palestine.
What a fucking loser, dude. Alright, have fun being broke.
Zach Sage Fox, and welcome to a Martyrs Memorial Day. Let's celebrate. Do you have respect for our military, or?
Not really. I think the military's horrible. The military, no. Yeah.
Nah, not really. There's a lot more talk right now about the martyrs of Hamas.
Huge respect for them.
Really? Do you have more respect for them than our own military?
Yes. Nah, America's mad honestly.
Do you think that on this Memorial Day, we should also be honoring Hamas?
Of course. Yeah, definitely.
So we should celebrate the Hamas military too?
Yeah.
The rape that was uncovered on October 7th, they beheaded babies. They GoPro'd a lot of their own murders.
No, that's not true.
No, I've seen it. Twitter.
Yeah, they did. They will post them chopping the heads off.
Oh, see,
I've seen videos.
I didn't know that. Do you think we should be celebrating the martyrs of Palestine?
Yes.
Hamas.
Yes.
Show me things that Hamas has said about Jews in their charter. Article 7, the day of judgment will not come until Muslims fight the Jews, killing the Jews. All Jews everywhere must die. Does that change your thoughts a little bit?
Oh, no, honestly.
Wow.
You know,
As a Jew, that's upsetting.
I can't speak for Hamas.
No, what I just showed you, that's Hamas speaking for Hamas.
Wasn't it their land first? I don't know. I don't know the history on it personally. Don't want to do this interview anymore. I feel like I've proven my point enough.
Well, you just said you didn't know anything. People are celebrating their...
They don't even know anything about the conflict, and then they pick a side.
Their military, and they have no love for our own.
That's interesting, I'm not gonna lie.
The U.S. military has a long history of genocide.
What about the Hamas's military? Do you think they're genocidal?
I don't know why it matters.
Well, that's our show.
It doesn't matter if Hamas is genocidal. Okay, gotcha. It's fucking insane.
2-month vegan after listening to your first debate with Destiny. Curious on your opinion of creatine.
Well, that's good to hear. Creatine's good. Creatine helps you to generate more ATP, so you're going to have the ability to have a greater power output throughout the duration of a workout. It also has some cognitive benefits. People who take creatine seem to perform better cognitively, and there's no evidence of long-term harm even at high doses, so you should probably take creatine. Thanks for the donation, Connor.
We're gonna do a fucking long distance relationship. But if there were two people, I think the only time I'd ever get married, if I needed to, would probably be if there was a kid involved, just because of the financial stuff and the paperwork and the because it's weird otherwise. Because there's you're gonna live with a woman and pay child support to her while you're taking your kid to school and custody. It'd be weird, yeah. So, but otherwise, yeah, I'm not a big.
Yeah, you don't like traditional marriage because you think that that social contract is more in favor of the female or the.
Fuck no.
No?
Jesus Christ, no. No, absolutely not. I just, sorry, I fought against a lot of people that say that. No, it's not even about that. I just, my life is just so unconventional. I'm sure even for you guys, right? Just the crazy online shit, the putting out content, people saying things about you, people, I don't know, they go after family members or whatever if you start fighting
they go
people.
after my daughter and stuff.
Yeah, it's wild. So whatever relationships I'm in, they're probably going to look pretty unconventional because my whole life is very unconventional. I work 14 hours a day, travel around the world or the United States. Yeah, everything's just really weird. So, yeah.
Okay, so you're straight. You're a straight guy?
I'm bisexual-ish.
Bisexual-ish?
Bisexual-ish. I don't think I'd ever date a guy, but I'll hook up with him.
What the
I don't want to date a dude. It's fucking gay.
What?
They even a fucking cuddle with a homie after sucking his dick. How fucking nasty would that be? Holy shit.
Well, when I think of bisexual, I think of gay. Yeah.
Okay, well.
Yeah. It's what's
then I'm either lying about the gay side or I'm lying about the straight side. So I guess, I don't know, I'll figure it out one day.
So you don't consider yourself gay, you're bisexual?
Yeah, a gay light.
That's gay-splaining. Yeah, because look.
Bro, this is crazy. Would you do this if you could afford it? They say your brain can last 700 years so long it's alive.
Let me take a look.
Step of the operation is a face and scalp transplant where all the muscles, soft tissues, and skin are removed from the recipient's face. The donor's face, muscles, and soft tissues are then precisely transplanted in their place. By transplanting younger donor tissues, the procedure reduces the probability of tissue rejection and offers potential for aesthetic enhancement, particularly in cases where the donor is significantly younger than the recipient. It also restores functionality and structural integrity to the recipient's face and rejuvenates its appearance. Brainbridge then carefully sutures the skin to conceal the complex rewiring beneath the surface. The skin is then treated with a special spray that contains growth factors, anti-fibrotics, and antibiotics. This spray promotes faster skin healing, prevents infections.
This is just a face transplant. I wouldn't do a face transplant unless I had severe disfigurement or something. Let me see the head transplant.
Transplant procedure involves removing a person's entire head containing the brain from their current diseased body. then attaching it to the body of a healthy, young, brain-dead donor. Head transplants could provide individuals with severe medical conditions such as terminal cancer, paralysis, spinal cord injuries, or neurodegenerative diseases the opportunity to have a fully functional body while preserving their consciousness, memories, and cognitive abilities. The neurons are the longest-lasting functional cells in the human body, and according to our estimates, the brain is capable of lasting several hundred years provided that the rest of the body remains young.
I don't know about that. You can look at how the brain gets impacted with aging. I don't think you'd live several hundreds of years just by transplanting your head. Maybe like 150, but I doubt the brain would last. I really doubt the brain would last like, 700 years or something. Thanks for the donation though, Will Mage.
Look, straight people have sex with straight people, right?
Yeah.
And then you have gay people, they'll fuck anything.
What you do?
That's why I say when I look at
Oh,
bisexual.
so it's like gay, like bisexual? Your version of bisexual, or?
Yeah, when I think of bisexual, I just think of gay because gay people have sex with both. It's just gay.
They fuck anything.
Yeah.
What it?
Like
What does the homo and homosexual mean? Does that just mean one? Like you just fuck one thing?
I don't know. Well, homosexual.
Listen, if that's what gay is to you, then I'm gay. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yes,
if I
yes,
came
sir.
home,
Okay.
like if my wife came home and I was down sucking a dude's cock, she would say I'm gay.
Yeah.
Even though
Would you say you're gay or that's gay?
I'm gay.
You are gay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think how most people look at
I came across a couple online. This dude is dating a trans woman, and he said he sucks her off. She has a
Okay.
cute little penis that looks like a clitoris.
Okay.
And he
So the
doesn't-
opposite of the Frankencock. Okay.
Yeah, but he doesn't consider himself gay.
Okay.
I was like, that's gay.
Why are you gay?
Do you see it differently, or?
I mean, I guess you could. I don't know. I don't think about the. I guess I'm more interested in the underlying content than the label for it. I don't really care as much.
Yeah, you don't pay too much of what straight gay. You don't really care.
No, I don't really think too much about it now.
Yeah. So you ever think about marrying a guy since the women ain't working out?
It's a good idea, actually.
Yeah.
It would be easier, I think, because guys are just better in every way. That's why the red pill guys say don't live with your girlfriend, don't live with your wife. Just fucking move in with your bros who enable you to be better and stronger. And yeah.
So
Dude,
you slept with a guy before?
Hooked up with a guy before, yeah.
Hooked up? What do you mean, like just sucking cock?
Basically, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, slobbing on some. Yeah, we didn't have to break out the Vaseline you guys had earlier. So nothing like that, thankfully.
No, hey, Destiny's talking about this. Before the show started, I had this Vaseline right here because I can't find my chapstick. Okay. Yeah. What was I gonna go to?
Yeah, this whole cocksucking just. I didn't know you were
When did
bisexual.
When did you determine? When did you first realize you was attracted to men?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it was like late 20s. I was like, oh, why not try it?
Really?
Sure, why not? You only live one life, you know?
Dude, you very open-minded.
Whatever, dude. I'll try
Fuck
anything
it.
once.
Wake up! I'm gonna suck a cock today. I've like, I don't know. I've
Like
never.
I knew I was attracted to girls like
Yeah.
like very early age, you know.
Yeah, I think that's pretty normal. I felt the same, yeah.
Yeah.
You were the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody, it's the last week to enter to win a Jeep Rubicon and $10,000 in cold hard white.
Fish rules for details.
Yeah. And then, what do you think caused the bisexual stuff to come on?
Yeah.
Do you think it's like bad experiences with women, or
No, I think it's
Porn
just
or-
trying. I'm just curious.
do you watch porn?
I do indeed watch porn, yeah.
You think that may have led to it? Because porn, man, that'd take you down some damn dark rabbit holes.
We speak from experience.
Yeah.
That
I don't
shit-
know. I've heard people talk about that, but I've never had that. Like, if you were to go through, like, when I go to jerk off to porn, I'm looking at, like, blowjobs or people f***ing. I've never gone down, like, the crazy.
Oh yeah. Oh, give
I
it
would-
time.
Give it time. I mean, I'm 35. I feel like if it was going to happen, it would have happened by this point.
No, it's going to hit you when you least expect it.
Okay, yeah.
I went down some.
The Only Path to Any Tellers was wondering what the dude's thoughts are on mentally disabled people assuming they sin in some way but have no understanding of doing it and have no capacity of practicing or understanding religion. Do they go to hell? Are they free of judgment? Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. With a lot of Christians, they will flat out deny that there are people who are so mentally disabled that they have no moral agency. So I don't know. Thanks for the donation, though, The Only Path.
Because, see, porn, that shit puts a tumor in your brain, and then it metastasizes and goes to your dick. And it fucking, like, man, I remember I came across the scene of a chick doing a dog. I was like, oh, this is hot. Then I was like, wait a minute. What the fuck is going on?
Was this before or after you finished?
I stopped myself.
I feel like you could say the same for like any hobby. Like I think that you can jerk off to porn responsibly, or you can go crazy with it. But I think that's true like anything, right? Like like you look at a video game, you can play a video game for an hour or whatever, or you've got people who lose their entire fucking lives to games, like sitting up all day.
Yeah.
You can smoke some weed every now and then to relax or hang out with friends, or you could be a guy that has to smoke every single fucking day because of anxiety or just sleep or whatever. So hobbies are good servants but bad masters, and too many people let their hobbies run their lives or whatever they get obsessed with. So.
That's true. You got to take accountability and take, be responsible for your own actions.
Yeah,
Too much porn can.
Yeah. You know what saved me?
What?
Christ.
Yeah.
He put his hands on me. I looked up, then I saw his blonde hair, blue eyes looking at me. He said, "Thou shalt not stroke of thy dick of any more." I was free.
Jesus.
Blonde, blue-eyed Jesus.
Yes, blonde, blue eyes.
Moses left that commandment up on the mountain. That was the 11th one. God wasn't done inscribing yet.
Yeah. Man, porn, I had to give that up.
Yeah.
I think if you could do without it, it's probably good. But I think that's almost true of any kind of like vice-ish thing.
Yeah.
Like if you didn't play any games, it'd probably be better for you. If you didn't do any drugs, it'd probably be better for you. If you never drank alcohol, it'd be better for you.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, balance it out.
Well, it all depends on the person, really. Some people, alcohol could be done recreational, and some people, it just turns into an addiction. Yeah. It all depends on the person, really.
I think the thing that frustrates me the most about talks about like bad vices, like porn or drugs, is people never talk about like how to use them responsibly. People take a zero-sum approach.
Yeah.
So if you walk around, it's like, do you guys remember Dare? Dare, it was like the anti-drug shit. How old are you guys?
Oh, yeah, Dare. Yeah, I'm old. I remember that.
Okay, yeah. It was a big, I grew up until I was like 25. I thought if I smoked marijuana, my dick would fall off. I like
Right. Yeah,
you just hear
that's
the
true.
dumbest shit. Yeah, I wish people just, rather than focusing on like, don't ever do this and don't ever do that, be like, this is what you should be aware of. And if this is happening, you probably need to slow down or you need to stop. Like, being aware of like signs that something is unhealthy rather than just like thinking some things are always good and some things are always bad, I think would be better.
True.
I want to please them all at the same time.
Well, I don't know if they'd be into that sort of thing. Thanks for the donation, Tyler.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Very true.
People act like if you don't masturbate to porn for like 2 months, you could fucking levitate or something. It's kind of...
Especially the Christian conservatives.
Yeah, sometimes.
That's a sin. You know, God's watching you when you bust your nuts.
And you know they're busted to the craziest shit too, because those guys are always looking at the wildest fucking shit, man.
The
My
conservatives?
God. Oh yeah, they always are. You go to like the Mormon fucking states, you look at that's like the highest instance of gay porn and shit. I don't know why, but
Hey, do you remember the you know who Turning Point USA is, right?
Yeah, Charlie Kirk, right?
Yeah, Charlie Kirk. They had a porn star actually attend one of their events.
Well, she went there. She wasn't invited, but she decided to pay the money
bought
and
tickets.
fly in. They found out who she was, and they kicked her out.
I'm like, how did they find out who she was?
Every motherfucker is looking at, wait a second.
Yeah, and they kicked her out. That's the one thing, I don't believe in censorship, and us being conservatives, we don't like censorship.
Yeah, they're against cancel culture, they're against censorship, and then they cancel a fucking ex-porn star.
Right? And then they do the exact same thing. Same thing that goes for Candace.
Well, it's kind of thing with the donors. They got donors.
Yeah.
And there's pictures. Money is the root of all evil. So
yeah, but they call out the left when they do it, but they don't call it when they do it.
No.
I think that like the problem is that I think people sometimes take hard stances on stuff, and the stance is not. They think they've got like a really hard stance on a thing, but in reality, there's just some factual thing they disagree with. So like nobody is a free speech absolutist, because as soon as you say like, oh well, should you be able to post child porn? Like it's like, okay, well no, not that. Right. Oh, okay. Should you be able to like post somebody's address and tell people to go kill them? Oh, okay, maybe not that. It's like, okay. So we're not like ultra free speech absolutists. There's some boundaries we have to draw. We just need to decide where to draw the boundaries. Same thing with like as controversial as they are, like vaccine mandates, right? Like, I don't think anybody's actually opposed to vaccine mandates. If there was a disease that came out that lay dormant in your body and then caused you to die instantly in 2 weeks, and that had like a 80% mortality rate and infected everybody, I think everybody like, okay, you got to get.
They'll be killing
vaccine.
each other to get the vaccine.
Exactly, yeah.
Right.
But if you've got a disease that like doesn't really affect people that much, it's a cold, and people are like, well, if you don't get this vaccine, you're gonna get fired. It's like, fuck you, I don't want to do this, But people will act like on both sides, like I'm pro-vaccine mandate or anti-vaccine mandate. It's like, well, not really. You just disagree about this particular one or the facts about this thing.
That's what it really boiled down to. Because I'm not anti-vaccine, but I was opposed to that vaccine.
Sure.
It just came out too fast. It's like, no, you got to test it. Normally, when a vaccine comes out, they test it for at least a decade.
It's got to keep you from getting sick, and it's got to keep you from spreading it.
Yeah, it's got to give you immunity.
That's what I would think. What was your take on that COVID vaccine?
I think that when people are looking at things like medicine, okay, here's something that's really important to understand about medicine. If you have a medication and then you've got like not anything happening, okay, it is always better to never take the medicine. All medicine is bad for you.
Everything has a side effect.
Yes. But the problem is people will compare taking the medicine to nothing happening, but you don't take medicine or nothing happens. You're trying to compare the medicine to the disease of whatever it is you're going to get. So people will look at like a vaccine or a particular, pill or whatever, and they'll say, well, if you have this, it's this side effect and that side effect and that side effect. It's like, okay, well, we're not comparing that to not taking it at all. Let's compare it to if you get the thing it's supposed to prevent. Well, what does that do, right? I think that the challenging part for COVID, and a lot of people don't remember this, is nobody really knew what was going to happen at the time.
Yeah,
right?
it first came.
Nobody, is this going to be like a 2% mortality thing or 10% mortality thing? Like nobody had an idea, and it was super infectious. This thing spread faster than like anything in the world in terms of like number of people that were impacted. Because it's a respiratory disease. It's not like you get it and your eyes are bleeding and everybody stays away from you. Like nobody's getting mass Ebola, okay, in the Western world because the motherfucker's walking looking like the Walking Dead, okay? Just get this guy the away from me, okay?
You can see him coming.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas if some guy comes up to you and he's got like a sniffle in his nose, this guy might be infecting 30 people. You have no fucking idea, So I think that, at the time I could definitely understand the fear. You're trying to stay ahead of the unknown because you don't know exactly how things are going to play out. So in that sense, it's hard to know what side to fall on. Like for this particular virus, even though a lot of people died and there was a lot of congestion in the healthcare system, it wasn't as bad as it could have been. But like there's another world where
I don't know why he's saying this. COVID was really fucking bad. Total worldwide deaths are estimated to be, I think, between 3 and 7 million, something like that. Like 3 million was the low end estimate, and might have been even higher. But it was somewhere between 3 and 7 million. And on top of that, it damages every organ system in the body. So there are a lot of people who have cognitive deficits due to COVID. Some are more minor. I experienced them where it would be harder to use my full vocabulary. So I'd be searching around for words a lot more. I'd have a bit of brain fog. And it seems some of these symptoms are lifelong. So some of the people who are affected cognitively, they might have those cognitive deficits for the rest of their life. So in terms of the amount of loss in productivity due to just what may be long-term or even permanent disability is massive.
Where we took the same path and it ended up being something that had like a 25 or 30% mortality rate. We're like, well, fuck, we just bled off 50 to 100 million people in this country, and then the worldwide stuff. So it's hard. When you evaluate things, you have to be able to go back and then do it prospectively. Well, what did we know at the time? Rather than look back, it's like, okay, well, this is what we know now, and this is what we should have done with what we know now. And it's like, well, nothing unfortunately works that way in life.
Yeah. It's just with that vaccine when it first came out, it's it keeps you from getting sick and it keeps you from spreading it. And then I think it first started in Israel. They were the first to fully vaccinate their population.
Yeah.
And then they were still getting sick. And I was like, wait a minute. Then they changed they moved the goalposts as well. You can still get sick and you can still transmit it, but you're less likely to die from it. I'm like, what am I supposed to believe?
Yeah.
They moved the goalposts at the end. And it's like, I don't think that vaccine.
They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. You're 4 times less likely to die from COVID if you're vaccinated. And I think you're something like 10 times less likely to experience severe illness.
Personally, anecdotally, I don't think it was very effective.
I mean, playing Monday morning quarterback, I think we should have just took care of the elderly, people with comorbidities. But I don't think they should have been forced on anyone. I think it was up to the person's choice. I mean, we give women a right to choose when it comes to pregnancy. Why don't we give them a right to choose when it comes to a vaccine?
Well, for the right to choose for the pregnancy is because she can't make me pregnant. A woman was walking around saying some shit, and all of a sudden people around her were getting pregnant. Then we'd probably have a lot more of a different feeling about it, right? But a pregnancy is like your body, your thing.
Yeah, but that vaccine did not keep you from infecting other people.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
So
it,
I think
it had the same efficacy of a flu shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, flu shots help. It's not perfect, but I mean, it helps. The initial vaccines were really effective for the first and then the Delta, but then after that, they started to fall off pretty significantly because of how mutated the virus was getting. I think the goal of the vaccine initially, and if you go back and you read all the actual medical literature, it said this, but the public health messaging was messed up. The goal was twofold. One was to prevent you from getting sick, and then the other was hopefully that was the goal. The goal was to prevent you from getting sick. Now, a byproduct of not getting sick is that you hopefully don't spread as much because you're not getting you're not contracting the virus, and then that's like a side effect that you're looking for. A lot of things a lot of it comes down to just information about diseases that people aren't aware of. So you can have like a virus. Just because you get infected doesn't mean you necessarily get sick. Like a virus and a disease are technically, in the literature, they're two different things, like HIV and AIDS, right? You can have HIV now your whole life and never develop AIDS because of the medical treatment and everything. For COVID, you've got the virus, SARS-CoV-2, right? You can get the virus, but if you've had like a prior infection or if you've got a vaccine, ideally you get the virus and it kind of like, fucks around a little bit, but then it dies before you actually get the disease and you get sick. Then if you're not sick, you're not coughing, and you're not spreading as much. But the spreading of the disease is not something that is usually tested for in vaccines. Like even for like polio and all these other vaccines, when you get them, you can still get the virus, but like your immune system will kill it before you actually like develop the full-blown sickness.
I understand your point of view. I think it's I think when it came to
it got politicized.
It got politicized, and then you have journalists that's a majority of I wouldn't say the majority, a lot of the money they were receiving, from ads and things of that nature. It's a huge conflict of interest because these people who developed this vaccine made a lot of billionaires. But I can't go back to the empirical research where it actually saved people's lives.
Sure. This is the thing that I wish it would happen. It's so hard. Is it?
I don't know why Destiny is agreeing with that. Again, you're 4 times less likely to die from COVID if you're vaccinated.
Sometimes people will fuck up or say something dumb, but then instead of like critically evaluating what's going on, people will just like jump to the other opinion, and then they don't do as much critical evaluation there, right? Like, let's say I wanted to sell you like TRT, and I come up here and I tell you that, creatine causes baldness, right? Which is a common claim of people, right? I imagine you're probably going to look at me like, okay, well, yeah, you're selling this. Of course you want me to think this about, the most studied supplement of all time, and you're going to tell me that it causes baldness or whatever. I don't know what you guys think about that. But I feel like, people will look at the vaccine and they'll go, okay, well, like there are just so many things that bother me. People say, I don't trust the vaccine. It was pushed through too quickly, whatever. But monoclonal antibodies, people loved those. That was an experimental treatment. It never got fully approved. It was way more expensive, but because that was like the more popular treatment, people would shun the vaccines, which I think now in retrospect, I don't know how much you want to go over it, but like they're pretty safe. Like there wasn't the mass death event that everybody thought there was. Like in all the communities where people got vaccinated, they were less likely to go visit the hospital. Like you see more deaths in like communities that weren't vaccinated. And you look at the monoclonal antibodies and those completely fell out. They just weren't that effective. So
you think it was the vaccine was a good thing?
Yeah, for sure. And I think the saddest thing too is that especially, and I feel so crazy because I'm always like the progressive, like far left guy. I am a big capitalist and I appreciate like businesses and everything there. I feel like the sad thing for conservatives is I think the vaccine, in my opinion, like represented like conservatism like almost at its best, because you had Donald Trump, who was a conservative leader, who like did the whole warp speed thing to try to like pre-buy and incentivize these companies. You had our large businesses that were working internationally with, like BioNTech in Germany, the manufacturing of the NLPs and I think in Denmark or whatever. Like, so it's capitalism. It's the United States like being a global power. It's the president like trying to incentivize something and push it through. It's like all this research from around the world creating like a vaccine in like record time. I feel like there's a lot of good accomplishments there that as Americans we could have been proud of, but it's
Trump,
like so.
Trump loves the vaccine.
Yeah, of course. Well, he wants to take credit for it because he warp speeded. Yeah, but I feel like because we're so like politically divided, we can't like every single issue that comes out today is political. Like if you go to the gym, it's because you're MAGA conservative. Like that's like a conservative thing now. Or like if a boat crashes into a bridge, it's because some Mossad agent did it to distract from Israel. Or there's a fire in Hawaii in the hottest place in the fuck. It's because like Jewish space lasers are trying to drive up property costs for Oprah Winfrey or whatever. Or, it's like Jesus. Like nothing can happen anymore without it being some crazy conspiracy.
Yeah, personally, I've had like people close to me that was like damaged by that vaccine. Like,
Yeah.
my friend's legs turned purple. They look like sweet potatoes. He can't walk.
Yeah.
And then I knew when I bought this car, right when the vaccine
Okay, I have a hard time believing that story.
came out, the finance guy, I was doing my paperwork, and he was telling me, he was like warning me, like, don't take that vaccine. I was like, why? It's supposed to be great. He's like, well, my daughter took that vaccine, and the reason why she took the vaccine, she wanted to go to Europe for a vacation. COVID messed up everything, so she went in and had to take the vaccine so she could go. 2 weeks after she took the vaccine, she got a blood clot in her lungs, and she died.
Yeah. And the biggest red flag for me about that.
Yeah, it wasn't from the vaccine. It was probably from COVID.
22 years old.
Yeah, about that vaccine was it was forcing on people who had already contracted the virus, survived it, and they still was making people.
And they were forcing on people who were in great health. We all know. I think, what was it? 80% of the people who died was people over 65, and they had something wrong with them. They already had one foot in the grave.
Well, careful, because when you say something wrong with them, like obesity is a comorbidity of,
Right, yeah.
which is already like
that's
70%
what I'm
of
saying.
Americans. Yeah.
Like 70% of people, I think it was even higher, maybe even 80%. 80% of the people died from it. Might even been 90% that when they died from COVID, it was they was over 65, or they had one foot in the grave. They were obese, they had heart problems or something, but it was forced on healthy people. And I was like, one of my friends, that girl that died at 22. That's why I think that vaccine was garbage.
Do you know anybody that died of COVID?
Yeah, my family members on my wife's side died.
How many?
3.
Jesus.
Yep, 3.
Well, so when you think of like, we've got vaccine injury, did you know anybody that died of or had a vaccine injury?
I know of 2 people. I didn't know them personally.
Okay.
Well, Mike?
Yeah, I can't count him. You already counted him.
Oh, okay.
But 2 other people,
Yeah. So that's interesting that doesn't factor in sometimes. Like somebody's like, oh yeah, like I knew this guy or I knew a guy who had a vaccine injury. Like, oh, do you know anybody who died of COVID? And like, yeah, I've got like 3 family members that I was like,
yeah, I know 3 people that died.
Yeah, but they were like, the 2 that I know in my family that died, they were big people. They were obese. They were not healthy people.
Sure. But I mean, like, they still died.
They got vaccinated and everything. They still died.
Yeah, and I look at like the vaccine interest. My friend, he's very young. That person who was at the dealership, she was a healthy young woman. She was forced to take a vaccination, or she couldn't travel. I have a problem with that personally.
Yeah. Like I think it was a big cover up. Like I remember when COVID first hit, they was cracking the deaths by the hour. I mean, up to date, all across America. You know how many people died in America. Why didn't they track the deaths of the people who was getting vaccinated, who still died?
They did.
COVID, who took the vaccine. They didn't track that.
They did
I remember when
track
Australia
that.
first started doing the vaccine with their citizens, they were coming out saying, well, we had 8 people die today, 6 of them are vaccinated. They did that for a couple of days and then they stopped.
Yeah.
What do you think? If it was a cover up, like what? How? Why?
Money.
Like I'm trying to think. Like
Money.
let's say
money.
Yeah, but like, doesn't it hurt the economy and everything more to have like lockdowns and vaccines and everything than just?
I think that was a wrong decision. You can't hide from a virus.
Where I'm saying let's we're talking like all the. So here's something that's always interesting to me. People say things like Lockheed Martin or Boeing, like the military-industrial complex. They like run the country. Okay, if you only look these companies up, these companies are worth anywhere from like $10 to $100 billion. Okay, decent-sized companies. But then I'm thinking like, well, if we're like running the economy, why would the military-industrial complex do things that puts the entire economy like on pause that hurts everybody? So like wars or conflict or whatever. Why wouldn't it be the people that own like Apple and Facebook? Because these companies are worth like Apple alone is worth like every private military contractor combined. Like, wouldn't they be the ones that control the economy? Wouldn't it be more like the U.S. is like, I want to go to war with that, and like Lockheed and Boeing and Raytheon, these guys are like, yeah, let's go, and then like Apple is like, we're not doing that. Actually, or I will hire an actual Haitian death squad to kill you if you.
Right.
I think it's a different dynamic.
Okay.
I think the reason why that information was not allowed to come out, who's going to put that information out there?
Donald Trump?
It's going to be the media. The media is being paid hundreds of millions of dollars to push this vaccine.
Brought to you by Pfizer.
If they're going to come out and criticize the vaccine, they're hurting their advertisers. There's no way Fox News, CNN, left or right, going to come out and criticize that vaccine because you're biting the hand that feeds you.
Yeah.
Even if I post stuff on Instagram or YouTube, I was getting censored. I was getting community guidelines strike on YouTube. You were not allowed to criticize that vaccine. That's why I think it's a cover-up.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I believe in capitalism too, but I don't consider that capitalism. I consider that crony capitalism.
Do you think, why wouldn't it be that like other countries would call us out? Like, why wouldn't Russia or China be like, we think that vaccine was a giant cover-up? Like, why wouldn't they say something if it was? Wouldn't it be in their interest to kind of expose us on it?
I would, but we're not on the best of terms. Like, we can't even agree on that very same logic that you're using amongst ourselves here in the United States.
Sure. Well, I'm not
Imagine
saying.
how
I
difficult
mean,
it would be between us and Russia or other countries.
yeah, I don't mean on good terms. I mean, like
Yeah.
as a way to attack us. Like, why wouldn't Putin be like, the United States is clearly corrupt, and we can see that because look at the vaccine that they gave their people.
I can only really speak to what our own media. Our media is here to keep the public apprised of what's going on. I did not see one story, whether it was left wing or right wing, criticize that vaccine.
Yeah.
Nobody spoke out, and it's because that's their biggest advertiser. They were advertising so much, enriching these networks so much, it created.
They never like our politicians and our media. They don't even serve us anymore. They serve their own interests.
And then, like, when I look at, you know, all the vaccines that came out and the mRNA ones, and I'm thinking, like, okay, well, let's say these mRNA vaccines came out and there really is a big cover up. Like, why wouldn't like Johnson & Johnson come out and say, like, hey, because other companies try to create mRNA vaccines and they failed. Why wouldn't these other capitalist countries or companies in the US be like, hey, those vaccines don't work. That's bullshit. Or like an enemy of the US, like Iran or Russia, or China, be like,
If
yeah,
that's true,
yeah.
if that's true, it just shows how corrupt America is.
It shows how corrupt pharmaceutical companies are.
They're so corrupt that they're willing to lose money being non-competitive. In the
I
vaccine
think,
market.
I think they lose money. I think they lose money if the truth comes out. That's why I don't think the truth comes out.
Yeah. I mean, look how I watched this documentary. It was about how the pharmaceutical company got everybody addicted and doped up on
fentanyl.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, these pharmaceutical companies, some of the worst evil amongst us, and nobody's willing to call them out for it.
It happens because you guys are just here to you're there to treat whatever the illness is, and oftentimes it's, I mean, as a doctor, your only weapon is medication. Now, if you've ever been to a doctor office before, they always tell you on the way out, they'll always say, oh yeah, make sure that you continue to eat healthy and exercise, but nobody actually fucking does it. Office, saying like,
All right, well, HodgeTwins were basically just spreading vaccine misinformation. Oh man. I am fucking tired, dude. Do a nap stream? I don't know. Video games? I don't know, I'm just so exhausted. Any advice for a new YouTube channel? Sorry, I need social media exposure. Cheers. The only real advice I can give you is just make more content. You know, you can kind of imitate success. You can look at channels that...
Where did you get that throne? Link the stream, please.
I bought this recliner at Leon's, and it's not on their website, so I can't link it to you. It's just a synthetic leather recliner. I think the brand is Bentley, I think. But thanks for the donation, Batman. But yeah, George, you can imitate success and kind of base your style of videos off of videos that you like and that are popular. But you just got to put out content as regularly as you can and make videos as best you can. But I think I'm just gonna go to bed now. I've not been getting great sleep, and I'm just gonna try to get some rest. I'll try to do a longer stream tomorrow and start the stream at 8 at the latest, and I'll try to stream at like 6 p.m. I'll try. But I hope you guys had some fun. Big thanks to everybody who donated on Streamlabs. Really appreciate it. I'll see you all tomorrow, and sweet dreams.